not just America's card room. We're the world's card room. A place where everyone comes together to play the game we all love. We are all unique, all competitive, and all striving to be the best. But at the end of the day, through thick and thin, we are all in together.
From the Lodge Poker Club in beautiful Round Rock, Texas, welcome to Poker Night at the Lodge. My name is Rick Epstein, along with my partner each and every week, Mike the Skull Reisman. Mike, you ready to get this one going?
Rick, let's get it started. Another jam-packed lineup tonight, Saturday night, our second 5-5 uncapped, no-limit Texas Hold'em game with some Omaha bomb pots this week, so a new change for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a mixture. 5-5 uncapped. We got a great lineup. We did this last Saturday night, and it was very well received. And we're going to take another stab at it. And you've kind of helped put this lineup together, Mike. And we're just a few minutes before getting cards in the air. And let's talk a little bit about the lineup here in seat one. The gentleman with his back towards us, the big guy with the beard. What's his name?
Let's slow down a little bit, Rick. Let's just acknowledge that beautiful young man in the middle of the screen with the black hat. That is yours truly, Skull Mike.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy in the orange shirt. That's
sorry.
me.
I'm sorry. I'm a little bit better looking than that man, but he's not so bad as well. But as you were saying, we got Big Tony over there in seat one to my left. In seat two, we have Mamba. Seat 3 right there racking up his chips will be Kazim, so he's going to be a new member to the stream tonight. I think he might have played our 1-2 stream, but he shot me an email, skullmikepoker@gmail.com, and he wanted to get in on the action for this 5-5 tonight, so he's going to be in there. He actually might be changing, no, he's not changing seats. I thought he might be changing seats with Joan, but we did a random seat draw, so these seats are solid for the 3 hours of the live stream. In seat 4, right there is right now it's Joe, but I'm not sure. I want to say off the top of my head who's going to be.
Was it Kai? Or was Kai in seat 5?
No, you're right. It's going to be Kai. So Kai is also a new member to the stream, coming down from the Colleen Harker Heights area, and he's going to be one of our larger stacks at the table with a 3K buy-in. And then we'll get over to the rest of the seats here shortly. But we wanted to start this stream on time tonight, 8 o'clock. Everyone's just getting situated. Live from the Lodge here in Round Rock, Texas, right off I-35. And we're going to be doing this every Saturday night, whether it's going to be the 5-5 uncapped games, or we'll also be live streaming some of our larger tournaments that we have going on at the Lodge. We always have tournaments going on a daily basis, but on Saturday sometimes we have special tournaments, maybe once or twice a month, and I believe next Saturday will be our Art of Poker. So we might consider streaming that, or we also might go back to the weekly 5-5 game that we're seeing to get started here. We got a large player pool. Lots of interest from far and wide around the state. And even if you're watching from outside the state, if you want to get in on the action, shoot me an email, and we'll get you in the mix when you come visit the Austin Round Rock area.
Yeah, the Lodge Poker Club located on exit 251 off I-35. We're probably about 15 minutes from downtown Austin. Round Rock is a suburb just to the north of Austin. Believe it or not, folks, Austin is the United States' 11th largest city. If you've never been here, we invite you to come and just don't move here. We're big enough, but we'd love you to play here at the Lodge. The gentleman in the box is Frank, one of our most talented dealers. If you're from Vegas or been to Vegas, you might have seen him at some of the largest poker clubs in the area. He's also a cruise ship dealer, but he's been ours for the last couple years. He'll be in the box tonight, and he's going to have two buttons there, the one white one and one that he's holding up in the air, the atomic bomb symbol. That will be the bomb pot. They will rotate in different directions. When the bomb pot and the regular button meet, that's when we will have the PLO bomb pot. And you might ask yourself, why are you going to have a PLO bomb pot in a Hold'em game? Well, we looked at it this way. Here at the Lodge, when they do bomb pots, they do double board, and it's just very difficult for our readers and our software to keep up with a double board. So we said, let's have a single board, but give the players the chance for more action. And the way we figured that, Mike, is to have a PLO, four-card variety.
We're improvising here. You know, we got to keep the players and the fans at home happy. I'm a big fan for the double board bomb pots, but we're going to make it work here with the single board. I'm just kind of demonstrating there how we want the players to rub their cards over the sensors. Again, this is an RFID table, so it's very important that the players cooperate with the sensors on the table. And again, this was happening about 30 minutes ago, so we're on about a 30-minute delay here. That's why you can see me on the screen. And let's go back into going over the players that we have at the tables. Everyone's kind of situated and seated here. So you said Kai was over there in seat 4.
Yep.
In seat 5 is Anthony. He's another local player. He works in the poker scene around town here in Austin. Seat 6 will be Joan, a fan favorite of the stream last week. She had a very profitable night last week, and she said, you know what, get me back in the mix for some more poker tonight. So she's going to be over there in the 6th seat. And then right to her left is going to be, who was that last player there?
Asian gentleman.
Joe.
Joe.
So Joe will be there. Joe was also on the stream last week. He was a little disappointed in his play last week, but he's looking to rebound. Seat 8 will be Scotland. He's going to be coming in at our largest stack of the night, buying him for $4K. And then rounding up the scene tonight is Coach. And also Coach was a little disappointed in his play last week. We went pretty card dead, and then finally found his best opportunity to ship the whole stack in with queens. But little did he know he was going up against the kings of our old friend Cy. So Coach had a short stream last weekend, so he's looking to rebound and come out on top tonight as our #1 most profitable player. He told me watch out for him tonight, so we'll keep an eye on that. And Frank's going to wash up this deck here, and we're about to get started on our first hand of the night, which I believe will be a PLO $15 anti-bomb pot single board. So
yeah, we're gonna first deal for a button first and see who the button will be. And it's exciting. You play against a lot of these people each and every day, so you're going to have some unique insight on what they're thinking and maybe what they might want to do. And Frank's going to deal for a button. And there's the ace of hearts. That's going to be tough to beat. And the button will go into the 4th seat. So that player, Kai, will receive both buttons to start the game. And remember that bigger button, the atomic bomb symbol, that's when we will have the PLO single board bomb pot. They'll rotate in different directions, and once they meet, then that's when the bomb pot is. Austin area and Round Rock area municipal rules require everyone to be in a mask, and so you will see here at the Lodge, everyone gets their temperature checked, and every player is in a mask. We're trying to be as safe as possible. We don't have the plexiglass. We aren't doing that like some areas of the country, but we do try to spread the tables out here at the Lodge, because right now we've probably got 7 or 8 cash tables going on right now in the nightly bounty tournament, this Saturday night bounty tournament. Lodge is opened 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are going to close on Christmas Eve at 5 p.m. and reopen on Christmas Day, I believe, at 4 p.m. So that'll be the only time we close for the next foreseeable future. If you do find yourself in town and want to play poker early in the morning, from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. each and every day, we don't charge any of the players, because here at the Lodge we don't take any rake. We just charge a seat action fee, an hourly rate for each player to play. So you won't see any rake being taken by the dealer. That's how the Texas card rooms are pretty much set up. It's more or less a social club, and we're ready to go. Frank is going to shuffle them up, and it's a 5-5, but everybody's in for the $15 bomb pot. It'll be single board, Omaha. Remember, folks, the bomb pot tonight, Omaha.
So what do you think, Rick? Who's going to be the big winner tonight? You got any
I don't have any
predictions?
I know Coach is looking for a big comeback. He was a little disappointed, as you mentioned last week. So, and of course, Joan, she's just always there. How about you?
The young. You mean the young and wise?
I meant that in a very respectful way. Who do you like?
I'm interested to see what seed 4 comes with. I know he was excited about this.
King, Queen, 7 is the flop.
So we're going to get our readers going off right from the start here.
And the readers are reading 2 cards, but we'll try to figure this out. And there's Kai with the first bet of the day. Kai looks to make it 35. And he'll get actually 45, and he'll get 1 caller. Looks like Joe made a call, and here's another call. So we'll go 3 to the turn.
So we know Joe has a king in his hand, and Kai also has a king in his hand with 10. I believe this is a 4-handed, each player has 4 cards in their holding, so we'll have to wait and see what transpires here. Goes check on the turn. We're on a river here.
And they're going to turn the cards over. Looks like he's going to throw over king with an ace. And they're going to determine who wins this one. Frank is having a hard time reading it because there's not much out there.
Yeah, this is our first hand of the night, so we're just getting warmed up here.
Queens and 7s are going to take this bomb pot down, and we'll go on to the next one. Now we're hold'em, at least for the next 8 hands. As you'll see, the bomb pot button goes to the right there.
Yeah, the bomb pot button goes in the opposite direction as the regular button. That way each player gets to have their opportunity and chance to be the button when the bomb pot arrives. Now we're going back to our 5-5, no limit hold'em here. Again, this is about a half of the lineup here is a little bit different than last week. And then the other half are similar players that played in the game last Saturday. So we're looking to give preference to new players. So if you're watching the stream for the first time and you want to get in on the mix, please follow the scroll on the bottom of the screen. Shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to get you in here. So let's see what you got. Bring your best game to the lodge. And again, if this game's a little bit too big for you, we also do 1-2 streams, 2-5 streams, tournament streams, and you can also just come to the lodge anytime just to get in on the action and enjoy yourself and play on some of the outer tables.
Coach raises it up to 25, and he's going to get 2 callers to the flop. King 10-5, 2 clubs. As Anthony flop middle pair.
Yeah, you can see him with bottom pair as well.
Kasim looks like he's going to make it 75, and he's going to actually, Coach makes it 75, and he's going to win that pot. So we'll go on to the third hand, and the readers tend to get more sensitive as we get going here. So if you didn't see Coach's hand there,
yeah, they're just getting warmed up. So after a couple more hands there, we should be a little bit more fluid, and they should be popping up on the regular basis here. But right now, we got a couple mystery hands just to test us a little bit as we get started here on poker night at the lodge.
Chip denominations: red chips are $5, green chips are $25, black chips are $100. You may see some purple chips out there from time to time. They're $500, and if you see a yellow chip, that means somebody is pretty deep because those are $1,000 chips. We had a few last week. Coach with deuce 4 suited, and we've got a raise over there.
Yeah, because he makes it 30 to go, and
ace queen.
Kai makes the call behind there with 10-9 off.
Joe in Scotland come along, as does Coach.
Yeah, so as you can see from these holdings here, everyone's here coming to play. These are not really superior holdings minus Kazim's hand here, but nobody's scared of the $30 pre-flop raise, and they want to see some cards.
3-3 deuce, as you see. Kazim still in the lead with his ace queen.
I think Coach hit a deuce there.
Coach did hit a deuce. And here's a raise by Kai. He's going to make it 175. And Kai with 9-10, not much of anything. He's going to try to buy this pot. His Coach in Scotland fold, as does Tony. back to the original better. He's going to fold it in 9-10 offsuit. Takes down the pot, and Kai.
Yeah, I spoke with Kai. I haven't played with Kai in a long, long time. Again, he lives north of town here and just came down special for the stream, but he said he was not going to be afraid to mix it up tonight. He says he plays a pretty loose game, and he wants to test the other players at the table with some weaker holdings and see what they're made of when he puts some big bets out there. So he is telling the story as he told me before the stream, and he's not disappointing.
Love for you to share this with any of your friends who like poker. Just send it to them. Say, hey, there's some poker going on, a new poker show. We'd appreciate it. There's a raise by Tony. He's going to raise it up to 60.
With the bullets. Our boy Phil in the chat says his last night in Austin, he smashed up seat 1. We know that's not true, Phil. Seat 1 is definitely a better player than you are. But you can keep dreaming, buddy.
We've got a call.
That's our boy Philip from Toronto.
So we'll go heads up. There's an ace, deuce 4, all diamonds. And Tony flops top set. Got to be a little weary about the diamonds, but not too much. 80 is the bet, and he'll take it down.
Yeah, quick fold there by Anthony.
Flopping top set with aces, living right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful world when that happens, but he just wanted to see where he's at, see if maybe Anthony's holding any diamonds in his hand, and elects not to slow play it at all. I like the bet there by Tony, and he takes it down.
I'd like to thank our executive producer, Dave Klaproth. He's in the booth tonight with Jermaine, who's running the cameras for us. So we've got a great crew. Our varsity team is here in the house tonight.
Yeah, this is the A squad for sure. I like to call, a little biased, but shout out to the boys who did the Big O stream this week on Thursday. They did a great job as well.
Yep.
So we appreciate them filling in for us, and Big O is definitely not my strong point. So as you can see, Matt there in the background there, right on cue. But we appreciate what they did, and we'll see what we can get going in the future with more Big O games. But we're going to try and mainly stick to the Hold'em games moving forward, but we'll see what transpires.
Anthony raises it to 30. Joe comes along, as does Coach, Tony, and Kazim. So we'll go to the flop. We got 5 players going to the flop. King, Jack, 6, 2 hearts. As Joseph hits a king, and he's way out in front, 71% to win this if it ended right now. And Joseph will take his gloves and put them on the chips and make an $85 bet.
Yeah, I wonder what our boy Phil in the chat thinks of Joseph's gloves. I mean, it's pretty top-notch gloves right there, very surgical.
So Tony will fold. Kai will fold. And he'll get a caller, 85, as Anthony will see the turn. Yeah. Deuce of diamonds.
Anthony's going to keep him honest there. Maybe my jack's good. Let's see what Joseph does with another street of betting here. So Magic's going to go check, right back to Joseph, and he is not going to slow down.
Deuce of diamonds on the turn.
Trying to protect that king against diamonds and hearts here. Also maybe a queen 10 type of hand. So
happy Hanukkah to the host. Yes, I had latkes today. It is the third night of Hanukkah. Yeah.
Latkes.
Hey, we're in Texas.
Latkes.
Latkes. They were good. My wife made good ones. King on the river, and Joseph with trips now is going to win this hand. Anthony is first to act, and he's going to pull. Actually, he checks, and there's a big bet by Joe. Looks like 190. No way that Anthony
top
can
pair
call.
Here still, the king's still good, and that's going to do it. So Joseph was telling the story there, 3 streets of betting, and Anthony with the correct lay down there on the river, and Joseph's going to scoop a nice little pot there, close to 1,000. Shout out to Cole in the chat, live from his car on I-35 there. Keep your eyes on the road there, Cole.
Cole, don't be watching us in the car.
Yeah.
The last thing we need is for anything to happen with our stream.
He'll be here shortly. The game is full, Cole, but if one of these players got, you will be right there on the list, ready to scoop up that seat and wipe up all the blood splatter and try to take some names of your own. But take your time there. No speeding, buddy. No speeding.
Looks like we might have a straddle here. I don't know. It looked like it could be a straddle for $10 in seat 3 there. But we'll see that if it was in fact, and it was, and he'll just say I call. So we'll go 5-handed to the flop, 9-5-10.
Nope. Trips is not different in Texas. Shout out to you, Cam. Just a little error here. Maybe our boy here, Slick Rick here, little elderly. Eyes might be a little tired, but we're just warming up. Give us a chance.
Wow, shots fired.
Shots fired early here. Better make no more mistakes there, Rick.
You better come strong with your smack in the live chat. I'll bring it. 4 of spades, 2 pair for Coach, and now a set. Is that a set?
That is a set. And
all right.
Joan, a fan favorite in the chat here, is looking to get frisky. Somehow this pot is still controlled here. Maybe it's because of the 3 of spades, but not when the boat comes.
There's a boat for Joan.
Bad card there for Joan, though, because it kind of counterfeits Coach, and it might slow down the action. Coach could easily put Joan on a 10 here.
275.
And he folds face up, saying, I got counterfeited. Your 10 is good. Little did Coach know that he was crushed with the boat of Joan. So a bad card there for Joan. Halts the action. And a good card there for Coach, because Coach could have got stacked pretty early here.
And Joan is picking up pots, dragging the occasional pots, occasional.
Joan said she cleaned up thousands and thousands of dollars last week, so you don't really want to be on the tracks when the Joan train is coming through. So
yeah, remember last week?
Picking up some steam here.
Remember last week before the stream even started, she asked Cole to give her $50 he owed her from the night before.
Yeah. As you say that, Cole, still on I-35 driving, chimes in on the chat saying, Joan owes me $50, LOL JK.
That's funny.
Joan wanted that $50. We had a bounty going on in the previous game of the week, and Cole paid Joan a little late there, but Cole paid his debts. Everything is square, but Joan did not forget.
Scotland makes it at 25 with 10-4 suited, and Joan will come along. So we'll go 4 to the flop. Frank will give us that flop. 6-10.
Oh, hello,
Jack.
Mamba. Just flops the nuts here. Okay, all clubs. Ace of clubs, Mamba's hand. C2. Getting ready for basketball season.
4. And that
2 pair for Scotland.
Mamba now still with.
Wow.
Now everybody has a flush, but Mamba.
So Mamba playing
The
this
nuts.
very, very slow. Nobody seems to. Wow. Wow. That went check, check, check all the way home. Flop, turn, and river. And
now
the ultimate trap was set there by Anthony, but he did not get any value for his monster hand there. Unreal. You know, obviously Mamba there trying to induce a bet from one of his opponents, acting behind him, knowing that some of those later players are pretty active and like throwing money into the pot there. But that was a missed opportunity and one that backfired, and you're only scooping in a minor pot there when you flop the absolute stone-cold Nutter Butters. But I guess
that's gotta hurt, Mike.
that hurts. Some money's better than no money. And Anthony's going to look to attack, or Mamba, a.k.a. Anthony, is going to be looking to attack another hand later on.
Sometimes if you're only out there trying to trap, you never attract anything in the cage. You got to go out and hunt, Mike. You got to be a hunter, not a trapper.
Yes, yes. You got to fire some bows and arrows and some bullets eventually.
So we got Joe. Tony will make the bet. We've got, looks like 4 players.
C5 would like to be the Wizard Slayer, apparently. Okay, I see you.
Queen 8-4 on the flop here as Coach and Kazim are about even in their chance to win this hand. There's a jack on the turn.
Still pretty much whiffs everybody here, 5-handed.
9-10 makes the straight. Coach is loving life.
Yeah, Coach Binkson on the turn finally.
And there's the ace of hearts on the river.
Yeah, everybody playing these pots very, very slowly. A lot of trapping going on early on. I'd like to see some people get a little aggressive, start building some pots here on the flop and turn. We're playing some deep stack poker here, so you want to get your money in early to try and set up some nice river jams.
And here comes Coach with just the call. He's worried about the higher straight.
Yeah, so Coach Might be licking his wounds a little bit from last week, electing to play his hands pretty slow and steady early on in the stream.
Slow and steady is all right, but if you're afraid of the dog, it will bite you.
Yeah.
How about that quote out there? If you're afraid of the dog, it will bite you.
Yeah.
It's pretty apropos in poker.
Even if you're not afraid of the dog, though, it still might bite you.
Still,
Still.
Saturday night, December the 12th here in Round Rock, Texas. We'll go to about 11 o'clock tonight, Central Time, so we've got a few more hours here. And as you said, the players are taking it calm a little. Looks like we've got a $10 straddle. Joan will make the call until one of them gets touched up, and then I think that's when it opens up usually.
Yeah.
When somebody gets touched up, then it no longer becomes conservative and just easing into things. You start diving into things.
Well, we're going to be here for 3 hours tonight again, like we were last week, so grab your beverages, get your blankets, get your favorite snack, maybe some latkes.
Ace 10 6. We got 28 in the live chat. I believe that might be a record. Keep it going, guys. We're a relatively new show, and we're building something. We're building greatness here, Mike Reisman.
Yeah, if you're watching the show for the first time, please like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to have more and more stuff coming out on a weekly basis here, so we hope this is not your first and only time visiting us. I hope you're enjoying what you're watching so far and continue to watch us moving forward.
Hey, February 25th, and we're going to have a bomb pot now, PLO bomb pot, remember, once per orbit. February 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. Guess what, Mike? The Lodge is hosting a $200,000 guarantee. It's a $500 buy-in, $75 at the door, and you've got a chance to get in that mix. It's going to be a great tournament, 3 day ones. Day 4 will be the last day of the tournament. That will be day 2 will be on Sunday, February 28th, and somebody's going to walk out of here with over $60,000, I'm imagining.
Yep. I'll make sure I have my safe nearby. I don't want to be carrying $60K out of the lodge in one sitting here, so I'm going to have it nice and protected when I take down that tournament myself, Rick.
The lodge is very highly secured. We have 24-hour security here. They'll even escort you to your Lamborghini, Mike, and
thank you.
Even drive you home if you want.
Yep, the nice yellow one parked outside. That is mine. Shout out to T-Flow in the chat, Jay Johnson and the whole clan watching ATL. Sophie Reisman, live from Bluffton. We see you. We appreciate you following.
Oh, my goodness. Your mom is watching. We've had your dad. Your dad's a regular.
It's spreading. It's spreading across the Reisman family.
9 of diamonds on the turn. And we don't know what Joan has, so Joan is a little bit dangerous there. As we got Kazim, I think the card reader on this hand aren't catching up here.
A little slow on this one. That's all right.
We'll figure this out. We'll play it blind.
Usually when Joan's firing out chips, though, she means business. She's not firing out these boards with air.
There's a bet. Looks like it's $100, maybe $125.
Quick call there by Joan.
120 was the bet. Three to the turn.
Joan's one tough cookie to bluff, too. So when she's coming along here on the turn, there's not many draws out there. So when she calls that turn bet, she's mainly she's saying that I'm willing to play for it all here. Looks like it's checked over to Kazim here. Let's see what he comes with. Pot already has close to $500 in there. And it looks like Kazim is kind of stepping on the brakes a little bit. Does he want to fire one last bullet? And it looks like he does. He's going to go for the full all-in stack there and put Joan to the test.
First one of the night, Mike.
So still Joan looks like she might have close to maybe, 250, 300 behind unless the all-in sticker comes out here. Graphics a little off on this one. We apologize for that, but we're going to work our way through it here. As you can see, the 9-9-10 flop, 5 on the turn, and looks like a queen on the river.
I would imagine Joan might have a straight here.
I don't think she has the Jack King. She lays it down. She could have maybe had a Jack Queen type of hand.
Because she's got Scotland behind and a big bet in front.
Right.
But she was contemplating it, so I wouldn't be surprised if and Scotland will go out. And
yeah. So Kazim with the raise to Scotland's bet there, and he takes it down.
And folks, if you see gray chips, we told you the denomination of the cash value chips. Gray chips are tip chips. That's how dealers get tipped. We have gray chips are $1, pumpkin are $5, and there's even some gold ones out there that are worth $2, and those are just for the dealer. So if you think the dealer has done you right, you give them some tip chips, and that's how we do it here at the lodge here in Texas. Most of the poker clubs do it that way, so you don't take any money out of play. Players can buy tip chips. They can always tip in cash, but they can buy tip chips anytime someone adds on to their stack or anytime with the cash out of their pocket. So that's how the tip chips work. We're on to the next hand, and we can see cards again, Mike.
Yes, yes. That's what we want to see. We want no guessing. We want all the easy decisions being made for us with our own eyes.
There's a bet from Scotland. He'll open it for 20. Mamba will fold.
Yeah, late position.
Kazim on the button will make the call. And Anthony looks down at King Queen offsuit.
Getting a good price there from the big blind.
He's having a conversation with the guy behind him. Jones says, "It's on you. You're holding us up here."
Shout out to George in the chat. We haven't seen you around. I know you're taking the precautions very seriously, and rightfully so. But we miss you, George, here at the lodge. Hopefully you're staying safe, and we'll see you here soon. Thanks for following.
Ace 10-3. You know, I've played poker with George for about 20 years. We started in before these poker rooms even came about. We were playing in the card places around Austin, the private card games. So George is quite the player.
Look at Kazim there. He came to play here. Just 8 high on the button. Checks around to him. He says, "Okay, guys, I'm going to rip this ace, and I'm going to take down this pot." So Kazim not afraid to play some pots. He's got a little dirty stack there in the front of his stack. His green stack's got a little red chip in there. Somebody will let him know here shortly.
Cole is still typing away in the live stream, and he's somewhere on I-35 trying to get here. These are some VPIP stats. Coach in the lead there on those stats. And we'll go on to the next hand. 5-5, no limit. Hold'em with a one-time an orbit $15 bomb pot PLO. And again, if you're new, just arrived, the reason why we're doing PLO bomb pots is simply because we can't do 2 boards due to the graphics. We're a little restricted there. So we're doing 1 board, but we're giving you more cards. So create some action.
More cards, more opportunity.
Joan will come along, and now it's over to Joe. Joe looks like he's got some raisin chips with those gloves on. It looks like he's going to make it 100. Coach in Scotland fold, as does Tony. Back over to Kazim. Kazim will make the call, and Kai will fold. So it looks like we're going to go heads up to the flop. Frank gives us Jack, King, Queen. Kazim flops a queen.
Yeah, flops a queen, and he's open-ended there. Would have preferred to see a heart there, but that's still a decent flop there for Queen 10 of hearts. Not sure what Joe has, but I'm sure he's going to be firing out chips as he does, 100 and change. And Kazim says, all right, let's see another card here. I'm not going nowhere just yet.
Buck and a squirt was the bet. We'll go to the turn, the 9, and there's the straight for Kazim.
So I'm sure Kazim has the best hand now. Not a great card there for Joe, even though we're not quite sure what he has. Let's see if that card slows him down a little bit. He does check it. Kazim check behind. Nice little check behind there, setting the trap.
8 of hearts doesn't mean much. 10 is the straight for Kazim, but Joe continues the story. He makes it 300.
So well played there by Kazim. Really telling a story that he maybe has just like a queen or jack and maybe even a king in his hand, but that he's not holding 10 there. So I imagine he's going to be reaching for raising chips, not really putting his opponent on ace 10. Carving out the 300. Let's see if he elects to raise, which I think he might. He's definitely not folding.
He's got the interesting Nike sweatshirt, Adidas hat. That's always scary.
And I guess he's just going to smooth call it there. And Joe with 5s, the speed limit, no good on that type of wet board there. But good for Joe, going for it there on the river after the turn goes check, check. And Kazim electing to play it a little slow there by just flatting.
Kazim building a pyramid over there with his chips.
Although now that we see those holdings, we know that a raise by Kazim likely would not have gotten through. Although we did see Joe call off Cy last week with the 6s. So we know Joe's not afraid to be putting chips in the pot, whether he's ahead or behind. But Kazim raking in another nice little pot there and gaining some momentum. C3 new to the 5-5 stream. Good for you, sir.
Got about 8 cash tables going on tonight here at the Lodge. The one directly behind this table, as you can see in the background, believe it or not, Big O in the house tonight.
Big O, a.k.a. Congress. 5 cards. You get to play a high and a low.
We called it Big Mitt when I was growing up. But I'm old, remember? $10 is the straddle.
So
Tony will come along.
Very old. Too old.
Hey, you'll be here soon enough.
I'm almost there.
25 now is the bet. And Kazim will come along. Joan will come along, as does Joe. And here comes Scotland thinking about raising maybe. He was the original straddler. And he's going to raise it up.
I like the raise.
Looks like 145, I would imagine.
And he's got the best of it. So he's electing to fast play this, trying to thin the field. Ace-Queen definitely goes better in a heads-up situation, especially when you're going to be likely out of position.
Yes, there's 1-3 going on tonight. 1-2 tables, 1-3. That's 5-5. So much going on here at the Lodge. And we got a bounty tournament just started. So if you're in Austin, come on out. We'll be here all night. 10, King, 3, 2 spades.
Interesting. Both players a whiff. Ace-Queen high still good, but both players have a Broadway draw if one of their opponent's cards hit here. So let's see how these players maneuver through this tricky spot here. And Scotland's going to elect to c-bet it.
150 from Scotland.
I suspect here that Kazim is going to flat this 150, but no, he's just going to get away right now. So
Scotland.
Nice hand there. Ace-Queen, the best hand. C-bet gets through. I would not have minded a little float there by Kazim in position, but neither here nor there.
Share this with some friends. We're up to 34 in the live chat, and I don't know how many views, but hey, we're trying to build this. I think we've got a good product here. Give us a shot. Let us know your honest opinion. We can take it. We got thick skin. Besides that, we ain't getting paid, so it really doesn't matter to us.
Looks like Saeed. I just saw Saeed there in the back, too. So we got some players on the wait list to get in on this game here, so hopefully some people start going after each other and we see some blood. I know that's what the fans want to see at home. And
I want to see it.
And the commentators, too. I know we love all these people at the table. Such friendly people here at the Lodge, from the employees to the staff.
Here comes a raise.
Managers, but we want to see some people getting stacked. Come on.
Coach with the raise. Looks like he's going to make it 70.
Anthony's got some fans in the chat here. We got multiple Anthonys at the table, so you got to be a little more specific there. But root on your favorites in the chat. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're here every Saturday night. 5-5 no limit hold'em.
Coach and Joe will go to the flop. 7-8 queen. Don't know what either of them are holding right now, but Coach makes it 75, continues his story. Joe will make the quick call. They'll go to the turn. Frank will give us the ace of spades, and there's some cards. Coach with pocket nines and Joseph with king 8. Joseph has a pair, but not quite as big as Coach's.
Yeah, and after Joseph checks twice, Coach is going to try and take the lead here with a bet. His nine's best. Joseph still believes in his pair of 8s, trying to try and bank another 8 or a king.
Oh, my goodness.
And just what the doctor ordered for the surgeon.
That's trips, right? That's trips.
That's trips. Hopefully a fan is still in the chat here. That is trips. Brutal run out there for Coach. Coach has just been getting the worst of it so far here on the stream on a weekly basis. Let's see what Joseph comes with.
Wow. And Coach has got to think he might still be good here.
It's possible, but he gets away quick. So good on you, Coach. Any 8 there, queen or ace wins. And there's not really, the only thing you could really put Joseph on there with a line that makes sense was missed hearts.
Yeah.
But the large bet says, coach was not, willing to risk it to see if it was just a busted heart draw. And he was correct. Joseph had the best hand there, caught up on the river, takes it down with the trip 8s, and the 9s get sent into the muck.
Well, Jabal says tight players. Well, the lodge players have never been accused of being tight. We invite you to come and take a first-hand look. There is action galore each and every day here at the lodge. The 1-2 games play more like a 2-5 game in Vegas, and the 1-3 games play more like a 5-10 game in Vegas. Yeah. I guarantee you that, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely not a tight lineup, but for the viewers that are watching at home, they are a little correct. It's been playing a little slower than normal, but just wait and see here. We'll get some chips in with some light holdings, and there'll be some light shoves and some big bluffs. So
coach will try it again, this time with ace-10 offsuit, and Tony looks to raise it up. Tony is going to make it 190. What's that one chip? Okay, looks like 190. I thought there was a chip behind the.
Yeah, Tony's got lots of experience. He's been playing poker for years. He's been out to the World Series multiple times.
Great guy.
Great guy. Businessman in town. Always got a lot going on. But he knows what he's doing at the poker table. So.
Kazim with K9. Woof. You finally got that, what I was saying.
Yeah,
K9,
finally, yeah.
woof.
It took me a little while. I mean, it's not that strong of a hand, so nicknames for weak holdings are
Scotland with 9-4, and back to coach, who was the original bettor, and he will call. I thought he was pushing all in, but he'll just make the call.
It's a tough spot with ace-10 there, in the blinds. You're going to be out of position, going up against a heavy 3-better here. I don't really love the flat. I would have elected for a raise or a fold there and just got away from it right then and there.
He put a third of his chips in,
but
pre-flop.
He gets the exact card that he needs, and the exact card that Tony did not want to see. So he's not going to rep that ace. He's going to try and do some pot control here. I like to see coach check again here, maybe putting his opponents on, a kings, queens, jacks type of hand.
They both check. You called it.
And now, coach can wait no longer. He's got to think his ace is good.
And he
checks it again.
I still think coach might be a little gun shy from last week.
It looks like it there. This is unlike coach there. I would have liked to seen coach fire out a little value there on the river. Maybe something along the lines of 150, 175. And Tony might have had to pay that off.
And coach might have thought, the pot was big enough. I'll take it down. My kicker isn't exactly ginormous.
Slow and steady, I guess, but 3-hour stream, clock's ticking, coach. We want to see you put some chips in when you got the best hand. I know you're capable. So, but giving Tony credit for maybe a larger hand, maybe an ace-jack or a lower ace or something along those lines. But after Tony checks, after that large 3-bet, you got to know your ace is good. But
first double strudel. Toaster strudel going on. I believe that's maybe $40. It's hard to see from here. $40 double straddle. And here comes a raise. 110 from Kai. Anthony and Joan will go out. So we've got a straddle, a double straddle, and a bet. 110 is the bet. Joe will come along. Coach in Scotland will fold, as does Tony and Mamba. And, hey, Kai, with his pocket eights, the snowman, will go head-to-head against Joe with the ace-7 suited. Flop comes king-jack 3, 2 diamonds.
Eight's still good here.
But, man, 2 overs. That's tough to continue, but we'll see what he, especially in out of position. Looks like a bet from Joe.
Checks around the Joe, and he's going to use the power position there, trying to rep one of these paint cards, putting his opponents to the test. I like the bet there by Joe, and he's going to get it through.
Take it down. Wearing the Chicago Bulls old school hat, and
got those gloves fresh from Seed in Maine. Maybe St. David's in town, so after he's done at the hospital, he likes coming to the lodge, play some poker there. Just kidding, Joe. Better to be safe than sorry now, especially with COVID and everything going around the world. So shout out to the blue gloves.
Ali Khan says Kazin is killing it. Talal Habib in the live chat. Moha Tashim, I don't know what that is. You'll have to tell us what that is. So here we go. It looks like we've got another straddle of 15. Coach on the button will make the call. Back to the big blind. Mamba will certainly call, and the straddle checks. We'll go 3 ways to the flop on this one. Deuce 4-10.
Rainbow flop. Whiffs on everybody.
King of spades. So now we got a gut shot for Coach, but
Mamba's going to lead
Mamba's
out.
going to lead out.
Draw and take it down.
What is Mamba's warrior there? What is that little figurine?
I don't know. I play with Mamba on a regular basis, and I don't think I've seen that little warrior out on the felt yet. So maybe it's a lucky stream warrior. Who knows? But he's hoping that brings him some luck, and he can keep racking up the chips. Time will tell.
Gabal says, I want to be there, but I have to drive 1 hour. 1 hour? That's nothing.
Gabal, we've had players that you're watching on the stream right now that are driving from further distances than 1 hour. So
that's nothing. That's an easy drive to come to the lodge.
If you want to get in on this 5-5 uncapped no limit hold'em game, please shoot me an email, skullmikepoker@gmail.com, and I will get you in the mix. I'll know you're coming from an hours away, and I will get you in here.
Out-of-towners will get a little bit higher preference. And what is your title now? What title did you give yourself?
Game coordinator.
Oh, I thought it was more of Grand Poobah game coordinator.
Oh, okay. Shots fired. The Lodge Gaming Coordinator.
We got a raise from Kai. 135. Over to Tony with ace queen, a nice little hand.
Yeah, we got a pot brewing here, definitely. Some premiums finally.
We got the Kennedy brothers. They don't like them bullets. That was your joke, and actually it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
10 jack 4, 2 spade, 2 clubs. King's still way ahead here. When you got pocket kings, you got to like that flop, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, definitely. Still 2 clubs. Might be scared of a jack 10 type of hand, but you definitely got to keep betting here, see where your opponent's at, see where you're at. And Tony's going to come along. Maybe wants to see a club on the turn. Jack could be a little scary there for Kai, but I don't think he's really putting Tony on a jack, and he's going to fire out another 300 here. Tony trying to get a read, as you can see, staring his opponent square dead in the face. Says, maybe you do have a hand. Maybe you do have a jack. Tony knows he doesn't have a jack, so maybe Kai could be repping a jack. Or maybe Tony's thinking that he doesn't have a jack, and if I fire in a race here, maybe I'm repping that. So it's a little he said, she said type of thing, but in the end, Tony's going to be a believer, and the Kings are going to take it down.
So many times that bet works. And the nice little bet out there and puts the pressure on. So now we've got, looks like a bomb pot where each player will put $15 in, and we'll play this hand and this hand alone in the orbit as a PLO bomb pot, pot limit Omaha. Each player will be dealt 4 cards. There'll be 1 board, and we'll play it. There will be no bets pre-flop, so they'll go straight to the flop. How hard is it to mix in PLO into Hold'em?
It's tough for reading purposes. Usually I can get a pretty good grasp on in bomb pots Hold'em wise, kind of putting an opponent on a type of hand there, but when each opponent is holding 4 cards and there's no betting pre, it's a lot more difficult to see. As Coach is holding aces in his hand, as you can see, but when there
so is Joan, yeah,
2 7s on the board here, you automatically think one of your opponents is probably holding a 7.
The only players we can't see are Kai and Anthony, and there are no other 7s out there.
Yeah, when we have 4 cards, it's a little bit harder on the card readers to get all those cards correct. You have to really wash the cards over the readers a certain way in order for them to pick up.
Wrap for Kazin.
Yeah, so this is interesting here. Kazim open-ended, drawing to the nuts. Well, doesn't have a boat. Board is paired.
Joan has the diamonds, and she's going to come along.
Yeah, Joan's definitely going nowhere with the aces and the diamonds covered here, but still with the board paired, it's a little bit scary. You know, Tony with a pocket king, so if a king comes, he's got kings full. We know an ace is not peeling when two opponents have aces, and I know Coach is a really good PLO player, so he gets away. Good on him.
Deuce of hearts. Still don't know what Mamba has, and he's been the better. Joan will check and back over to Mamba on the button.
I don't know how much experience Mamba has in PLO. I don't think it's that much, but he's still firing out on the button. I know Mamba sometimes like to get a little frisky in bomb pots, repping hands. Not afraid to put money in the pot, even if he's not holding the goods.
250, and Joan just
snaps it off. So this river is going to be interesting. This pot's getting close to 1,000.
There's the 8.
So hearts get there now. So, oh, yeah, hearts get there. There's boats out there. So even if you're holding a hand of aces, you're definitely worried. And Mamba's not going anywhere. He's going to fire out a juicy bet. It looks like 400, he says. So really going to put Joan to the test here. Those aces really start to crumble when your opponent's been firing. And Joan's won on feelings. As you see, she's in the tank there, really channeling her inner Miss Cleo, trying to get to the end of the road here and see what the story that Anthony is telling, a.k.a. Mamba, is adding up. And I think it's a good laydown.
Yeah, I mean, aces in PLO, they just don't have the power. Now, suited aces have a lot, but you know, two pair with aces up is not a good hand with a straight and a flush draw out there.
As you can see, I think Joan and Coach are talking to each other that they've been, oh, I had aces. And Coach is like, oh, I had aces. And they say, yeah, that's not really the best board there for aces. So in the end there, I think that's the correct lay down there by Joan. Maybe she didn't even have the ace of hearts in her hand. If she had the ace of hearts in her hand, maybe she can put Mamba on a bluff.
I love it. Our chat, Castleberry saying, asking another chat room contestant, red or black. They're betting in the chat. I love it.
Did I miss that?
Yes.
Where is that going on?
George Castleberry, Phil, red or black, he says.
Wow.
So Coach will make the call over to Mamba, who's still stacking his chips and even more fall over. He's going to raise it up, feeling good. He says, I just got these chips. Let's put them in play. Makes it 35. And Kazim and Kai will fold. Here comes Anthony. He'll make a big bet, 185. Over to Joan now with Queen Jack. Joan's still thinking about her aces and the diamond draw that she missed. She's going to make the call here.
Yeah, Anthony's a little bit on the tighter side too, so when he fires in a 3-bet to 185, that usually means business, but Joan going nowhere, Mama going set mining, it looks like. Getting a good price here on the river. I'd like to see him make this call in position, and that's what he's going to do. So this pot's going to be close to 700 here after he makes this call.
Wow. So Anthony way in the lead here with his pocket kings. Here comes the flop.
We got action on a red flop, and it's all black. So
7-8
George running bad early here in the stream. Joan could get in trouble here after banking top pair. Let's see Anthony playing it slow. Checks through, maybe putting his opponents on a flop set of some sort. And Joan's going to wait no longer, ripping it in here, saying if nobody's going to bet at this pot, I'm going to take my best shot. Drawing with top pair and also a 9 for the nut straight.
Anthony calls. Joan's going to see the bad news unless she gets some help here.
Looks like they're just going to run it once, and that's going to do it for Joan. So Joan's going to have to reach into the wallet for our first rebuy of the night. Anthony waiting for Joan to flip over her cards. Usually that's what happens when your opponent goes all in. They have to show first. But finally, I think Joan says, you know, Jack, and then Anthony flips over the kings, and kings are good. Well played there by Anthony, setting the trap. I'm sure Joan definitely did not put Anthony on a hand as strong as kings there, but I don't know about the check on the flop and turn there by Anthony, but it pays off. Your opponent, you could almost let your opponent get there. But he makes the correct call and stacks Joan. So I know some of our fans in the chat are going to be upset about that as she reaches into the wallet for a rebuy. But that's not going to be the end of Joan's night. She's going to battle back. She's going to channel her inner thoughts and feelings and look to have some revenge on her opponents as we move on to the next hand.
And she's called for checks, and our chip runner will run her some. Looks like she's going to buy in for another 1,000. Remember, it's uncapped here. $5 tip chip goes to Frank for dealing pocket kings. Frank says thank you. He's got a family at home trying to go on vacation. Every tip counts. And as a dealer, I deal on Sunday morning, Mike. I'm going to go from here home, sleep for a couple hours, come back at 5 a.m., 5:55 a.m. for my shift.
That's why you're the Lodge MVP, Rick.
I like dealing. I deal one shift a week. I just love it.
It should probably be Saturday afternoons to work your way into this.
Yeah.
And maybe have Sunday mornings off. I mean, if you need to hire an agent, I'm available.
But then I can't commentate if I'm dealing.
You can deal before the stream, and then you come off and get back here in the booth with me.
I like the Sunday morning shift. It's quiet.
Maniac.
55 and Joan calls.
I'm not a big morning person. I like to get my extra Z's in, so that's just me.
You're just getting home at 5:55.
No, I don't play all night. That's not me either.
55 as Joan calls, and that green placard says money behind. That means she's playing 1,000 behind.
So Anthony scoops a big pot, beginning to loosen up a little bit, juices it up to a hefty 55, and then boom.
Trips.
Flops trips, but not much of anything there for Joan. So, and he does not elect to slow play this one. I would have much preferred a check in this position. And just fires it out there, and he's going to scoop in a mini pot as Joan totally whiffs.
Your dad has more nicknames for me than anybody I know. Now he's calling me Shifty Rick. Yeah. Last week it was Skinny Rick. So yeah. I don't know.
He's just going to keep firing out names.
Keep firing until one sticks.
That's right.
I like your Slick Rick.
There you go, Slick Rick in the skull. That's what I'm going to stick with.
Rick and the Skullmeister. Or is it just the skull? So we'll go to the next hand.
If you're watching in the chat, let us know where you're watching from. I know I gave a couple shout-outs to a couple friends that I know are watching, but if you're tuning in for the first time, we appreciate it. Like and subscribe to the channel. Shoot me an email if you want to get in on the mix, get in this action.
I want to thank our title sponsor, America's Card Room. If you play online, give America's Card Room a shot at your action, and if you play live and you're anywhere near Austin, Texas, we hope you will choose the Lodge Poker Club. Flop 5-5-8 with 2 spades, as Kai has ace deuce of spades and Coach has 3-6. So if we see a spade here, we might see some action here, Mike.
Yeah, probably a little bit of action, but still the board is pairs, so I don't foresee an all-in taking place here if a spades hits, especially as Coach is playing pretty passive and his flush draw is rather low. But I'm rooting for a spade. That would spice things up for sure.
10 of hearts, and there's the river. And it's going to be a quick fold with the jack of diamonds. An ace, and an ace alone will win the pot. And we'll go on to the next one.
Ace high, good. As you can see in the background here, Lodge is busy tonight. We got tournaments going on, Big O, 1-2 tables, multiple 1-2 tables, 1-3 table. That might even be a little deeper than this game. So lots and lots of action always taking place here at the Lodge in Round Rock, Austin, Texas.
And typically, now this game is uncapped, but the 1-3, tell us about the 1-3, what you can come to the table with and what you can do.
1-3 minimum buy-in is $200. And if a new game is starting, the max buy-in is $600. But as the game goes on and on, you can match the stack at any point. So if someone has a stack of $4,000 when you come to the table and you want to play for $4,000, by all means, get your rolls and stacks on the table and try and double up for $8K. That is legal.
In our 1-2 game, the most you can come to the table with is $300, and there is no match stack in the 1-2 games, and there are no bomb pots. The only bomb pots we will play is any game higher than 1-2. And that's just simply the lodge policy. And that was enacted for a number of reasons, but that's just the way it is. 1-2, you will not have any bomb pots. Anything higher than that, you can have bomb pots.
So VPIPs quickly showing the players that are the most active here. Flashes by. We'll try and get our cumulative winnings and losing players stats, statistics coming up here shortly as well, so we can keep track on our big winners and unfortunate losers on the evening. Not everybody can be a big winner when you start mixing it up on the felt. You're going to have good and bad days. Hopefully you have more good days than the latter.
Yeah, you were telling me earlier you got touched up today.
Got a little touched up today out there on the felt, but that's all right.
You don't want to talk about it? Ace 3-6 is the flop. Hey, it's one long game. It's not, each day is not a game. It's one long game, right? Ace, a 4 of spades. Nobody with a spade.
Joan
Joan does.
But I don't see Joan firing out a bet until it goes check, check on the river, and she might even check this one down when it gets to her, any jack, queen, or king.
Yeah.
But as it checks around, you got to believe in your 10 of spades, and good on you, Joan, for believing you have the best hand as you do. A little overbet to 125, and she's not going to get any callers.
Buck and a squirt from Joan, and Coach is going to lay it down.
As will everybody else.
And we'll go on to the next one.
34 people in the chat. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that's up nearly double from what it was last week. If we can double each and every week,
we're doing something right.
We're doing something right. And, you know, we invite you to watch some of our recorded episodes. I believe we've already have 18 or 19 recorded episodes in the can. Just search for Poker Night at the Lodge or the Lodge Poker Club on YouTube and watch some of the episodes. I think some of them are pretty darn good, and a lot of them are tournament episodes. Some of them are cash game episodes, so pick your poison there. We're starting to really get into these live streams and trying to do them once a week. Here comes a raise from Kai with the jiggities, pocket jacks, a hand nobody likes.
I like every pair that I get dealt. Always lots and lots of possibilities, just like Anthony calling, flatting behind with the 8s. The Eric Lindros, the Snowman, whatever you want to call it, trying to hope and bink an 8, crush Kai's soul. Let's see what happens.
I like 6-7 of clubs. The largest hand I ever won was 6-7 of clubs. 9-10-4, 2 hearts.
So a good flop there for Kai.
And he's gonna pick out some chips. He's gonna, looks like make 100. He says, "Is
Buck
it
and
me?"
a square. It looks like 125.
Yeah.
I like the sizing.
Over to Tony.
Anthony said there was no 8 on that flop and 2 overs. I'm bye-bye. See you later. Same with Tony, and the jacks are going to take it down. And he shows. So maybe Kai setting a little future trap for his opponents at the table, showing everybody that he's got the jacks, he's got the goods. He's not putting money in there without premium hands, but time will tell. Because as I mentioned earlier, Kai was telling me pre-stream that he's not afraid to put in the money there and put in a big bluff.
Hey, we'll take people in the live chat any way we can, even if it's George and Phil playing their own game of red and black and not really paying any attention to us. But that's fine. Guys, stay with us. We love you.
Those guys can multitask. They're paying attention, trust me.
All right. We got a $10 straddle from Mamba wearing his Laker gear. Anthony will fold. Joan will come along. Joe over there with his Chicago Bulls hat will make the call. Scotland goes out. It looks like we're going to have a raise from Coach. Coach makes it 115, it looks like.
Ambitious raise there by Coach in small blind there, trying to look to squeeze and take this down right now. Doesn't want to play that 5-2 suited out of position multi-way. Let's see. Joan's not going to be going nowhere with her ace-queen. So Coach is going to have an interesting decision here if he whiffs on the flop. Let's see what happens. I know Coach likes these hands, but usually when he's a little bit deeper stacked to try and crush some larger hands if he hits. Oh, but he hits a 5. Good on you, Coach. And the 5 comes ahead of the ace-queen. And the c-bet is coming.
He's going to make it 110.
Let's see how frisky Joan wants to get if she wants to float with this ace-queen. She's trying to go to her feelings again.
Thank you. Tell Kathy I say hello, George. That's very nice. We miss y'all. Haven't seen you since this COVID. Hopefully the vaccines are coming, folks, and we'll get everything back to somewhat normal.
So Coach gets a little lucky there, and the 5-2 survives. Definitely in rough shape. I know he was live to that ace and the queen, but when you're only playing 1,000 behind and your opponent has you covered, what do you do there when you whiff? You whiff, you maybe fire out a c-bet and pray. But the fives were good.
You see the chip counts. Scotland with 4K, and then Kai next with 3,700. So we got a bunch of cash on the table, a bunch of chips on the table. Probably say over 20,000 for sure, and it's only going to grow from here because we're just getting started. We're about 1 hour into this stream. We'll be here another couple hours, and the game may go on till I get back in my shift at 5:55. I wouldn't be surprised.
We will see. I know some of these players like to put in long hours, but I also know some of these players came from long distance and got to drive home, so
get a room. There's plenty of hotels around.
If you're watching from San Antonio or you're watching from Killeen, South Austin, Dallas area, East, West Texas, and you want to come play at the Lodge, you're welcome to come play.
Queen 9.
Plenty of hotels nearby, or you can play all night. If you want to pull an all-nighter, a monster session, if you're on a heater, that's also encouraged.
There's
come
a
on
king.
by.
Joan now with 2 pair, and the diamond draw now. Actually, the straight draw for Coach. Joan with 2 pair. And Joan's going to take down another pot. And after rebuying, she's trying to build up her chips again. So you say, some of these players will play long sessions. What's the longest session you ever had, Mike?
Probably, I don't know, 14 hours.
Yeah.
That's really not that long if you talk to any type of poker player. I'm not one for monster.
Yeah, you don't stay a long time,
no.
And you don't hit and run either. You're a middle guy.
I like playing about six hours at a time. Honestly, I try to stick to my guns, and right when you start to feel a little bit tired, that's when your mind starts to pull some tricks on you. You might start making some mistakes. So I try to avoid making any mistakes while I'm at the poker table. So I want to be nice and fresh and sharp when I sit down on the felt with my opponents.
PLO bomb pot now, ace queen 9. Go straight to the flop, and it's over to Kai. Kai looks down. He's got a pair of 8s in his hand. Not much. In Scotland and Kazim, we can't see their cards yet. Hopefully they'll be able to read those here in a minute. And looks like there's a bet from Scotland for 60. Mamba comes along. And there's a raise from Kazim. Looks like 255 is the raise over to Scotland, who made the original bet on the flop. Scotland and Kazim, we can't really see what they have right now. Scotland will go out. Back over to Mamba. Mamba out of position here is going to look at his cards again and say, do I want to make this call? And he's going to probably throw it in. He throws kings in the air.
Yeah, that's a great, kings are not strong on this board at all. Kazim's going to play a little mind trick and show the queen, but those kings were no good. George, you got to keep an eye on Phil here because I know he's not one for counting high numbers, and he's one to get confused easily. So I hope you're keeping good track, George, on this red and black showdown that you got going on here.
The Lodge offers massage professionals in the house at $1.50 per minute. They do a wonderful job. Just call one over when you're here, and You see one in the background, right behind Joan.
Yeah, you get a nice little good rub down.
You like the massages here at the lodge.
Yeah, I like the massage, especially as we're talking about late sessions when you get into 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of playing. That lower back can get a little stiff, so get a little extra support, a little extra relaxation for your mind and soul. That might push you another hour or two of playing wise and keep you sharp.
2, 6, 8, 2 hearts on this flop. Kazim flops top pair, 40% favorite. We'll go to the turn. There's the ace. And Joan, all of a sudden, vaults way to the front of the line. And she's going to make a bet of 75. Don't know if anybody can call this. Nobody really has any heart draw. And Joan's going to take this one down.
And again, Joan's bets, usually when she fires out, they get a lot of respect. So even though Kazim spikes a pair there, for $75, he's not electing to appeal and see what happens on the turn, and river to see if he can catch up, because as we know, he was behind with Joan's ace, and Joan's bet will take it down.
Once again, we want to remind folks, mark your calendars, February 25th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. 3-day ones. It's a $200,000 guarantee Texas Hold'em tournament. 3-day ones starting at 4 p.m. on February 25th. Day 1B is on February 26th. Day 1C, noon on February 27th. And Day 2 will start at noon on February 28th. $200,000 guarantee. And last time we surpassed that. So at minimum, I would imagine first place is going to walk away with, close to 50, 60,000, and which is not a bad sandwich, Mike.
No, not. You can get the world's best sandwich for that much money.
So we'll have a lot of players coming on. We'll have satellites. I believe we might have already started, or we will already start.
We got satellites going on Sunday nights. We also got a question here by Nathan in the chat that we'll get to in just a second here. We got a nice little hand brewing, a 3-bet pot here by Scotland with ace-jack, and Joe will call with a superior hand and ace-queen. Both players whiff.
King 9-7, 2 hearts. So Scotland with the heart.
Interesting, these players were in a similar pot earlier on with similar holdings, and then we'll go check here. Another heart here, and Scotland with the ace of hearts, which is an important card to be holding here. After Joe checks, I imagine Scotland's going to fire out a bet here, try and take down this pot right now. And that's exactly what he's going to be doing.
Reaches for what looks like 150.
150, yep. Again, that ace of hearts is very important to be holding here in this situation. So back to Nathan in the chat. He wants us to further explain the 1-3 no limit hold'em buy-in. So over here at the lodge, we have multiple 1-3 games going on, usually on a daily basis, 1 or 2 tables at any time. The minimum buy-in is $200. When you start a new game, the maximum buy-in is $600. But let's say you're joining already a 1-3 game in progress. The minimum buy-in, again, is $200, and the maximum buy-in is whatever the largest stack is. So if you have an opponent at the table with $5,000, you can buy up to $5,000. If the opponent who has the biggest stack has $1,200, then $1,200 is the maximum buy-in. So it changes each and every time depending on what the situation is. So hopefully that clears things up for you.
This game is uncapped, so if somebody walked up with $100,000, they could go buy $100,000 worth of chips and bring them to the table. Did I misspeak? Day 2 actually. 3 day ones, 25th, 26th, 27th, and day 2. Day 2 is February 28th. That is a Sunday. That's when it will all end. It's a $500 buy-in. Ooh, somebody's got flowers and a cake just walked by. What's going on here?
I think we got a birthday situation going on in the room, so whoever that is, happy birthday.
Wow, I want a piece of cake. Here comes the flop, Jack, 3. Coach still in the lead with his big slick, and he's going to lead out $100. And a quick flip of a black chip in from Tony. Will make the call. There's a 9 of clubs. So Coach, first to act here. Will check. There's an 8 of spades. So Coach will win as long as he stays in. check, check, and Tony's going to see the bad news and see that the king will lose to the queen. Ace-king will take it down.
Yeah, ace-queen definitely had a little showdown value there, but after coach, shuts down there after the flop c-bet, Tony could have fired out a bet there on the turn or possibly river to try and take down that pot. Elects to play it safe and try and believe in his ace-queen to be the best hand, but coach was holding big slick, and ace-king good enough to scoop a pot.
Minimum 2 tournaments each and every day here at the Lodge. Minimum. Sometimes we have actually more than that, but check the Lodge Poker Club website or give us a call anytime, and we'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, and if you want to be on one of these future games, again, you see the scroll at the bottom of the screen. Shoot me an email, skullmikepoker@gmail.com, and we will get you in here.
45 is the raise from Scotland.
I don't think these players look too scary at the table, so if you think your poker skills might be superior, we challenge you to come on in here and give it your best shot, and maybe you can be our big winner here on Saturday Night Poker at the Lodge. It's definitely possible.
125 is the bet from Mamba. We can't see the cards for some reason on this hand, but Scotland is thinking about it. Scotland and Mamba. Scotland's going to make the call. It was 105. And there's ace-8-8. 2 hearts.
Yeah, so we're not sure what these opponents are holding here, but in a 3-bet pot here, heads up, it's very likely that one of these opponents is holding an ace.
150 is the bet from Mamba. And he's going to go out.
Scotland is not one of them. Mamba sends it to the muck, so we'll never know, but we'll give him credit there for an ace, or at least the best hand.
December 12th is tonight. Lodge was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The only time we'll close in December. The Christmas Eve at 5 p.m. we will close. Let everybody who works here go spend 24 hours with their family, but they'll be right back on Christmas Day, reopening at 5 o'clock. So close Christmas Eve. Everybody go, leave here, go spend some time with your family, and then come back after you're sick of your family on Christmas Day. That was a joke, but anyways.
Have plenty of time to hang out with Santa, and then come back to the Lodge and try to win your own money for a snow sled. So, haven't had too many fireworks yet.
Yeah, looks like Tony just is going to rearm himself.
Mamba, Kazim, and Kai both waking up with some decent holdings here, so... Ace-Jack suited, pocket eights, king-queen. Big slick here from Anthony on the button. He's going to fire in a very hefty bet there. I like the sizing. Definitely trying to thin this field and go heads up. And he might even take it down with the 240 sizing pre, which is not that bad when your opponents are each putting $50 ahead of you. But let's see what happens here. So... Mamba has not folded his holdings yet. I believe he was holding, was it ace-jack? So right now the action is on Mamba in C2. We don't see his holdings up. They might have gone into the muck here in the future here. We were getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, and I think that's what happened here. Action back to Kazim with his eights. Maybe he would have liked to call if some of the players in front of him elected to call. He might have gotten a little better price to set mine. Now probably fearing that he's up against a bigger hand like 9s plus. And same thing with Kai. Doesn't really want to come along there unless any of his other opponents called in front of him. So the hefty 3-bet on the button in position by Anthony is good enough to take it down. And that's a plus 200 win there without even seeing a flop. So
what price would it have made pocket eights enter that pot, Mikey?
It really depends. I mean, if you're playing we are playing deep stack poker, so even if you wanted to go heads up, I mean, eights is still ahead of a hand of ace king, right? You're already ahead right then and there. So maybe you don't need anybody, to call in front of you there. But maybe you're putting your opponents on a hand like 9s plus, and in that case, you're crushed. So we have the benefit of knowing, that Anthony was holding, big slick there on the button. But when you're making such a large bet there, you could easily be holding nines plus.
Yeah.
So it puts your opponents in a tough spot. And that's exactly what you want to be doing at the poker table. You want to be putting your opponents in tough decisions, tough spots where they have to play for all their chips and are not quite sure what to do. And usually in those spots, your opponents will send those hands into the muck, and you'll be scooping in the pot. So well played there by Anthony, and he takes it down pretty.
We got 7 players going to a flop of ace-9-6. Thanks for that explanation. Joan with spades in her hand. Don't know what Tony has right now. Let's see who. Joan is on the button with 4 to a flush right now on the flop. And there's the bet from Scotland in very early position. He'll make it 60. Scotland with ace-10 of diamonds. He does flop an ace. And here comes the raise from Coach. Coach is going to make it 225. Coach also with an ace and a 6. He's got 2 pair. And Joan, it's going to be hard for her to get away from this. She's got a flush draw, and she's going to lay it down. As does Joseph. So back to Scotland, who thinks he might be good here with a 10 kicker. Got to put Coach on an ace at least.
Yeah, and we saw Coach earlier in the stream get counterfeited with the 2-pair holding, and he missed out on an opportunity there. So he's fast playing this ace-6 as he should, also with spades out there. 5 is a safe card. Scotland will check. We'll go back to Coach. Let's see what kind of sizing Coach goes with. Checks behind. I don't love the check behind.
7.
Maybe trying to set it up like he's playing spades.
Now there's a 4-liner straight out there now.
And Coach has been playing very passive. After he checks that turn, I would suspect that he was going to check that river. And missing out on a little bit more value. I mean, ace-6 definitely is strong.
Well, you got also a
Strong
4-liner
holding.
out there, right? Any 8 would beat him too. Ace-8.
So, for everybody watching here, we're going to have some action coming up shortly. I'm trying to multitask, commentate, watch poker, text to the managers in the room. We do have a casualty coming up here shortly. And I am trying to pick our next player here from the booth without leaving you all you beautiful people watching at home. So stay tuned. We'll have some action coming up and a new body coming into one of these seats.
Well, that's a...
Just giving a little heads up.
Man, that's good.
Giving a little heads up.
Forewarning, We want to be surprised. I want to be shocked.
Giving a little heads up. We have, we're on a 30-minute delay here.
We don't know when it's coming. That's the only thing.
It could be anybody at any time. But, I am Lodge Gaming Coordinator, right?
Yes.
So I need to fill these seats when somebody gets scalped. And that seems to be what was happening here in the future. So there you go.
All right. Well, we got to take what we can get. Looks like we're going to have 4 players going to the flop. Bet was 45. Frank's going to give us a flop here. Queen, Jack, 5, 2 clubs. And Joan flops a set of 5s. Gotta love that. Flopping sets is always beautiful, Mike.
Yeah, I think we saw Joan flop a set of 5s or 6s earlier on. So a nice board for a set of 5s. Maybe you're hoping your opponent has a jack or a queen. Scotland had a jack but got away.
A 9 of clubs now. Kai with the nut flush draw and a straight draw.
Yeah.
And Joan with the set of 5s fires 3 black chips.
I like the sizing there from Jones. Sizing up, making Kai pay for drawing out. But lots of outs here for Kai as we take a river. Drawing to the nuts multiple ways does not get there. Set of 5s are good.
Joan will just be happy with this pot. She's going to throw over her set. She looked. She thought, uh-oh, did I lose? No, Joan. You won.
So Joan electing just to check down that river, maybe scared of clubs or a possible straight. Could have elected to fire out another bet there on the river. Probably would have been over. The hand would have been dead for Kai. But a nice little pot there by Joan.
Oh, gotta love our live chat. I love watching it.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of side jokes going on there. Very high-quality side jokes from George and Phil.
Saturday night. Look at the action here at the Lodge.
Yeah, everybody ready to mix it up, whether you're at the feature table here or one of the outer tables. Lots of different games being spread out onto the felt. We'll mix anything up there. We got the Big O, maybe a round-and-round game, 1-3, 1-2. Whatever you want to play here at the Lodge, we offer it up.
It's Austin's largest poker room with access up to 20 tables. We have 18 in the main room. Then we have a couple more that we could slot in different positions. So that's how we can play these large tournaments and so have so many cash games. So we pride ourselves in being the friendliest poker club here in the Austin area and the largest and the most well lit. You walk into some places and it's so dark, and here you can, guys like me with bad eyes, you can see the cards.
That definitely helps. I know that's one of the reasons Joan loves playing here. She can see her boards very clearly and make the appropriate decisions. Sometimes you might misread your hand when it's so dark in the room, so that's definitely crucial and important.
Tony will come along as Scotland made the 110 bet. Here's the turn. 6 of hearts, 3 hearts out there, and actually 4 hearts, and Tony has the jack high flush, and he's locked in. As long as he stays in this hand, he's going to win.
A lot of these boards tonight, it's pretty strange where the entire board runs out the same suit. And Tony's setting another trap here, trying to induce a bet from Scotland. After this board goes check, check, check all the way home, you got to be believing in your jack of hearts, knowing that you've got the best hand. You're not putting your opponent on the queen or the king of hearts. But also the 7 gets there for the straight flush, which is possible. So Tony electing to play it slow, taking down a smaller pot, and the jack high flush is good.
There's your chip counts. Anthony in Scotland about 3,500. Kai with 3,000. Kazim just under that. So between 4 players, you got 12,000, and then you add the others in. We got a lot of cash up for grabs here.
So Phil's asking if you remember him, Rick. Do you remember Phil from Canada, Toronto? Would come in mainly at night. He wear button-down shirts, a nice little big bald head.
I'm sure I do. I'm better with faces than names, but if you played here, chances are I'm going to probably know who you are. So, Phil, the answer is yes. I'll just say yes, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm just bad with names. And plus, Phil, the name Phil as a poker player is probably one of the most common names out there. Phil Ivey, Phil Helmuth, Phil Lack, Phil Gordon.
Lots of Phils.
How many Phils are there? They even have a book named Kill Phil about poker. I mean, it's probably the most common poker name, right?
Yeah, so we're back to this bomb pot here, though, multi-way. Some of the readers off here, and unfortunately it's the ones that seem to be involved in the hand. Kai bets 55, Joan flats 55, Coach comes along. Let's see here. Coach drawing to the nuts with the jack. Also has the king. Kazim has a king.
There's the 6. And the card reader sometimes has trouble keeping up with multiple cards, and Joan's going to lead out there. Don't know what she has, but if she's making a bet of 300, I would imagine she's got a boat.
Sounds about right. We know none of these opponents are holding any types of 6 in their hand. So very possible, and the bet of 300 is good enough to take it down.
She's going to give Frank a nice little tip, and Joan's always very generous with the dealers, and I know all the dealers appreciate that. And, dealers, we've got so much talent in this room. Dealers from all over the country have come here, especially during COVID, as poker rooms around the country have shut down. And really, the hot spot in the country right now for poker are the Texas card rooms that are popping up, a lot in Houston. We got a lot of great poker community here in Austin, and Dallas is starting to pick up again. So that attracts great dealers, and dealers do work for tips, and I know they really appreciate the generosity of all of the lodge poker community. So there's a raise from Anthony up to 50. Yes. I know Phil. I just saw a picture, Phil. Yes, of course I know you. We miss you. There's a re-raise. So Joan called the 50, and looks like it's going to be a re-raise from Scotland.
Was it Scotland or Joe there? I know somebody had Big Slick.
I think it's Scotland. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we have Joseph's card reader on Scotland's hand here. So the 3-better is Scotland with ace-king, not 10-7. Keep that in mind as we move forward here in this hand. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be going 3-way. Joseph is out of the hand. That is Scotland right there in the plaid shirt with ace-king.
666, the devil.
And we are heads up here with Joan and Scotland. Joan holding king high. Scotland holding ace high.
And there's a bet, 175.
And that will probably do it for Joan. I don't see Joan floating on this board. Out of position, I would not advise it, and she sent it into the muck, so rightfully so.
And now we'll go on to the next hand.
So we're about halfway through, guys. 9:30 here Central Time. Round Rock, Texas, USA. We'll be going live here for another hour and a half. Probably have a couple of new players in the mix as we move forward. 5-5 no limit hold'em with PLO bomb pots as we take a look at the stacks.
Playing 9-handed here at the lodge. Everybody must wear a mask. Everybody must get their temperature checked. We do have disinfectant. We have hand sanitizer throughout the room. We try to keep it as clean as possible until we get through all this. I wonder, it's going to be interesting. World Series of Poker, it was canceled this past summer, and wondering with the vaccine coming out and being approved if it's going to be good in time for the World Series of Poker to open up again next June. We'll see.
We shall see. I know some of those WPT tournaments, MSPT tournaments are going on with barriers at some of these casinos around the country.
Yeah, I don't know about those barriers, but if that's the only way to do it, I guess that's
yeah,
it.
It's definitely a little weird and annoying. Kind of feel like you're playing poker in a cage or a box, but
yeah,
if that's the only way to do it, then that's the only way it's going to be here.
There's the bet from Scotland. Scotland's starting to get a little frisky now. The last couple hands, he's put some chips in play. He makes it 130.
Well, he's got top, rightfully so, to be putting in some chips here when you have your opponents crushed and behind. Kazim likes to take his time, doesn't like to fold. Out of position here with just a 3. Let's see what he elects to do. Probably sending it into the muck is the proper decision. But he's been a little bit quiet after getting off to a hot start on this stream, and I know he's got some fans watching at home and in the room. So he's got to put on a show for his buddies and his family. And folding, waves the white flag, so he says, no sir to that. Let's take a river and see what happens.
There's the deuce
Does
of
not
hearts.
get the help that he needs. Out of position, checks it over. That's the problem with kind of, just flatting out of position when your opponent shows a lot of aggression on the flop and on the turn.
There's a bet. Looks like 365 from Scotland. There's no way Kazim is going to call. He's done anything, he's going to raise here. Not going to call with a pair of 3s.
He might. I think he's just going to fold. But raising early here doesn't make much sense at all. So
why does calling make sense? I would think raising is the only way he's going to win the pot.
he just might be putting his opponent on, an ace-king type of hand, ace-jack, a complete stone
Flush
cold
draw.
bluff. But the way Scotland's been playing, and I know these guys have some history. Whoa, he said something here. Or he might just be asking what it is he's calling. He looks like he's putting out just calling chips. But Scotland really hasn't been getting out of line at all. So there's no reason to think in Kazim's mind that Scotland is lying or bluffing here. So let's see what happens. Kazim in the tank, trying to think, what hands could my opponent possibly have? What am I beating? Ace-king, ace-jack, ace-10. Maybe my opponent just triple-barreled me with a spade draw. So he is beating a few hands here, but he's also losing to a lot of hands with just holding 6-3 offsuit. And now his chips are back in his lovely pyramid, and the cards are in the muck where they belong. So Steve in the chat wants me to try and explain bomb pots. Usually on our standard games we do double board bomb pots. So there's 2 boards, but before a bomb pot takes place, and what we're doing here on the stream is just a single board bomb pot, each player antes a certain amount. In this case it looks to be $15. So each player who wants to participate puts in $15, and there's no betting pre-flop. So after, your antes are in, the cards are dealt, you go to a flop, and then the betting continues. And for tonight, we've elected to, each player has 4 cards to choose from. They're playing Omaha, another form of poker. Omaha, but you only can use 2 cards out of your 4.
Must use 2.
Yeah, you must use 2 out of your 4 in your holdings to connect with the board. So that's basically what happens with the bomb pots.
The reason we're doing Omaha 1 board is because usually bomb pots in Hold'em are 2 boards, and we just can't do it with the card readers. The software won't allow 2 boards to be shown, so that's why we went to Omaha. Jack on the turn. Looks like the ace-6 way ahead. He doesn't know it, though. There's another jack. Tony will win this hand as long as he stays in. He's happy to just take the pot, and he's going to take it down with his jacks and 6s with the ace.
VPips here showing our active players. All pretty high VPips. Pre-flop aggression as we see here as well.
What would your pre-flop aggression number be, Mike?
I'll probably be towards the top here on this list. I like to be pretty aggressive at the table. I don't know a certain percentage to fire off the top of my head, but I'd be a little bit more active than what we've been seeing so far tonight. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad, usually for the good.
Here comes a raise. Tony's going to make it. Looks like 35, 45. Mamba looks at his cards. Will fold. Kazim will make the call. Kai goes out. Anthony goes out. Here comes Joan.
Kazim must have a favorite hand in his 6-3. This is the second time we've seen him play the 6-3.
Coach will come along as Scotland folds. So it looks like we're going to go 5-handed. There's the flop, 3-7-8. Kazim flops a pair. Coach with backdoor spade draw. Jack of hearts on the turn. Joan now with the jack. She makes the bet. She's going to lead out for 30. Over to Coach.
Yeah, 30 into a large pot. So bet might seem a little suspicious to the opponents that, you know, maybe Joan is not that strong and potentially could be, you know, bluffed off this on the river, deciding to see what happens. You know, hearts could get there, pretty wet board there for a possible straight. Now the ace gets there, and Joan checks.
She definitely didn't want to see an ace.
That's
Here
what
comes
yeah.
Tony. Tony's got to have an ace, you'd think. Staying in. We don't know what his cards are. He makes it 45. He did bet originally.
So milky, too. And Joan will just fire in her cards to the muck with the jack. Tony was making it very affordable, just 45 into a pot that was, you know, over $300, $330 at the time.
Begging for a call.
So I would have just had to pay that off. I'd have to see it if I was in Joan's shoes there, especially after you fire a bet there on the turn. So I would have liked to seen it if I was in Joan's shoes, but she believed Tony, didn't believe in her jack, and we're going to go on to the next hand.
9:40 Austin time. We're about an hour, 40 minutes into a 3-hour episode of Poker Night at the Lodge, live stream. 5-5 Uncapped here on December 12th, 2020. Coming to the end of, might possibly be the worst year since. Let's get to 2021 and see what that brings the world. Raise from Kai. Tony and Kazim will come along. 3 ways to the flop. Frank will give it to us. Ace 4, Jack, all spades. Nobody with a spade, but a couple players, everyone with a Jack. This is an interesting hand. Here you go, Mike. 3 players all with a Jack. There's a 6.
Yeah, pretty interesting here. Tony with the only spade, so a spade definitely helps when the flop comes all spades. 6 gets there on the turn. Nobody has Jack 6. Queen Jack still in the lead. And it helps being in position there when everyone has a similar type hand. And the best hand in Kai takes it down with a bet there on the turn.
So we'll go to the next hand. I want to thank everybody who's been in the live chat. A couple new people have joined, and a lot have been with us since the start, an hour and 40 minutes ago. We really appreciate it. 34 people currently in the live chat, and a lot more watching without being in the live chat.
And if you're new to the chat, new to the stream, come out and check us out every Saturday. We're going to be doing these live streams as we go, trying to do it on a weekly basis here. So tune in, follow us, and continue to like and subscribe. And there'll be some good more poker action all the time here. Poker Night at the Lodge, the Lodge Club live stream.
6-7-9, Joan flops and open ender plus. There she hits her straight, but hearts also hit. So everybody has a heart now. If a heart comes on the river, we're going to say bingo, bango, bungo.
And we're in Scotland's position for sure, holding the nuts.
Let's see if a heart comes. Frank, put it out there, baby. He does. There's the king of hearts. We got action. We got takeoff. Scotland with the nuts.
Well, I don't think he's going to get much action as we go on here. The pot only has $70 in here, a little value bet of $35. Maybe Joan will just pay this off, but $150 pot, not really monster action, and we might not even get to $150 as Joan looks to be not loving what the river brought, but now she's reaching for chips. She says if you got it, you got it. Good hand, sir, and ship the pots over to Scotland's way. There we go.
And Joan said, I had the straight. See, I had the straight and you got there.
She had the straight, and then she had a better hand.
I guess I was cheering
no
for
good.
a different heart, maybe the heart that would have made Joan the straight flush.
That is an action killer, agreed. But I don't really think we were going anywhere, no matter what that river brought.
Yeah, still mute. I was wrong. I thought it was a different scenario. I thought there were 3 players in at the
Little premature,
time.
got a little too excited.
Premature celebration, premature commentating.
That's okay, Rick. We'll give you a mulligan here.
Hey, I just came back from Houston. I did a high school football game on the radio, a state semifinal game on Austin's #1 sports radio station. So I'm a little tired. Give me a break, folks, for goodness sakes.
That's okay.
Texas high school football, it takes a lot out of you as an announcer.
That's why I'm here. Keep you in check, keep you awake. Like Cole on I-35. Hopefully he made it into the room here. We're not quite sure. He seemed to have left the chat.
All right, we got a raise here from Scotland. And Tony will call. Looks like it's 90 is the bet. Tony looks like he's going to make the call as Joan puts her cards in the muck. And we'll go 3 ways to the flop, all calling 90 from Scotland. The flop, Jack 3-4. Nice. Yeah, it was LBJ. Austin LBJ was the school. The first time they ever made it to the state semifinals, 4A D1 game they played against Lindale, lost on a last-second field goal, 31-28. Had they made it to the state championship, it would have been the first time an AISD school made it to the state championship since 1973. So, Carthage is a good school, Poker Odyssey. I know that well.
So we got something brewing here as Mamba looks to be representing a holding that is not currently on the board. So 3-4 Jack Rainbow. Scotland the only one holding a jack with an ace to boot. And he just flats Mamba's bet here. So we have a pot brewing, not much more behind for Mamba as another jack peels. So as Mamba fires out a bet there on the flop, he might try and represent here in position a jack. That is what his opponent is holding.
Oh my goodness!
So this could be bad news.
275 from Mamba. He doesn't realize he has no chance to win this. He's all air right now.
Scotland in the tank knows basically he has his opponent crushed. Trying to do his best Tom Cruise impression. Little Hollywood for the guy in the nice plaid shirt.
Now, does he check the river here? Let's see what he does here on the river here, depending on what it is. A 3. Now he's got the boat. Is he going to check here, Mike? Yes, he does. Never mind. All in from Mamba.
All in and a snap call faster than the sound and speed of light.
Oh, my goodness. And Mamba said, I got caught speeding. Got pulled over by the Sheriff Scotland.
I don't love that jam from Mamba. Obviously, he only has ace high there, but after the board comes, you know, with a 3 on that river, Jackson 3s, his ace definitely does have a little bit of showdown value.
Yeah.
Props for Mamba for going at it on the flop and turning in position, but he could have checked that river after Scotland checks it over to him, and your ace high has a little bit of showdown value. Maybe your opponent was on a missed heart draw. Who knows? You're more than likely probably beat.
Well, you got to acknowledge the fact that he held the story the whole way through.
Yeah.
And he tried to tell the story. Unfortunately, Scotland had the goods.
Yeah. Well played there by Scotland.
And the answer, Poker Odyssey, yes, it was Reagan. And Carthage, Keontae Ingram, who now plays for the University of Texas, went to Carthage. But we'll go on to the next one. Looks like it's a bomb pot. And who do you got to fill Mamba's seat?
Time will tell. As we were saying a little bit earlier on the stream, a little birdie whispered in my ear that we were going to have some carnage coming up. And I knew it was coming from the 2 seat. So I am so sorry to interrupt your high school football breakdown. But I saw what was transpiring there, and I knew that there was going to be bloodshed in the 2 seat.
No need to apologize. I was just getting a little excited. My passion is high school football, and I love poker too. Ace Jack 7, Rainbow, and we're back to the PLO bomb pot. Once per orbit, everybody puts $15 in the middle, goes straight to the flop.
If Phil Nathan is in the chat, I believe it will be Cy Stone. So get your favorite beverage. Maybe a Molson from watching from the Toronto area. Maybe a tea, a nice warm glass of milk for you, Phil, whatever you need. I think Cy Stone is coming into the 2 seat, so buckle up here.
Wow.
We've got a PLO bomb pot here. Again, the readers are a little bit tough on the bombers. 4 cards for each. We'll see if we can thin the field a little bit. Pot ballooning to about $1.50. Looks like we have Scotland and Coach, the only players remaining. We're not quite sure what they're holding. Each player gets dealt 4 cards for these bombers, remember.
Must play 2 from your hand.
Ari Rubenstein in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Happy Hanukkah. Hope everything is well out in California. Thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be here every Saturday night.
Wow. Castleberry asked, did Scotland call for the fair catch? He's referencing the punt by Mamba.
There you go. I like it. Very slick. Very slick there by George as he's staying sharp at home in quarantine.
Well, yeah, when he comes back out of quarantine, poker has changed forever. Haven't seen George since the masks were worn around here.
So Scotland there is starting to heat up there. Stacks Mamba, then wakes up with aces in the bomber and Binks top set. So a little momentum here brewing here and building in the 8th seat. Getting rewarded for being patient. That usually pays off in the poker world. You just wait, sit, watch your opponents, watch your prey like a shark in the ocean, and then just pounce.
Kai will fold and try to fix his mask. It should go over the nose. Gotta tell some of the players. Coach will, oh man, I haven't seen a $5 flop since we started. This is what we've got. Jack, Jack, deuce, and Joan hits trips. And so does Kazim.
So this is very interesting here. I think Joan's going to get the action she needs.
Oh, of course. And just a smooth call from Kazim.
Again, when Joan fires out, she usually means business.
Both players with a great hand. 100 from Joan.
Kazim is check dark here, so he's just in check call mode, knowing that Joan might have a superior holding. And Joan just goes another extra $100. So a pot that could have been much larger looks to be only becoming about a $500 pot. Good on Kazim for not going bonkers with his set of jacks, really putting his opponent on a strong hand. Maybe, jacks full of deuces, maybe pocket fives, or just a larger jack. And Joan scoops a smaller pot than really what it could have been. So there we go.
We'll go on to the next one. Looks like we do have somebody coming in the 2 seat. Has some cash on the table.
We do not see who it is yet, though.
The mystery person.
So we were swapping out a card, getting a new 3 of spades in there. Scotland looks to be racking up his chips. He's not leaving, folks.
Yeah,
he will be going for the color up.
He's going to get a little color up.
And we see a purple chip on the felt here shortly. That is $500. He might be electing for more greens or blacks. The greens are 25. The blacks are 100. So Scotland definitely our chip table boss at the moment. He bought in for the most, and he seems to be playing the sharpest. And that's a lethal, deadly combo.
Tony will make the call. And Kai, with the straddle, will say, let's see a flop. Flop comes 7-5, queen, 2 diamonds, and Kazim with diamond draw.
And ladies and gentlemen, C2 Cy Stone enters the building. So Cy Stone, if you watch our 5-5 stream from a week ago, the Cy guy was our big winner, stacking anyone and everyone who was in his way. He had a large score, was our big winner, and he is back a little late.
Ooh, there's the diamond on the river. Kazim smashes the diamonds and beats Tony's 2 pair. Let's see what happens here, Mike.
Still only 120 in the pot. These players have been playing pretty passive, so even though he's got the flush, he feels good in his holdings. I don't suspect this hand to get too large. He goes for $75 worth of value and probably going to get paid off here by Tony. And he does. No raise. Flush is good. Ship the chips to seat 3. And let's get some chips over to seat 2. Money does not play on these tables. He needs some stacks of greens and some stacks of reds.
So Kazim, with the flush on the river, will take that pot down. So we're going to have a chip runner, bring size some chips, color up Scotland. Here comes
Canadian Pete trolling in the chat. Okay, buddy. You know you love it. Best hair in Texas. I think I was your favorite player in Texas. So come on, show a little love. There's enough hate in this world. You love the commentary. And we got to get you back here down in the mix. Maybe you can hop in Phil Nathan's suitcase. Come on down here and mix it up on the felt with your boys here in Round Rock. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe to the channel, Pete. We got to grow this channel, got to grow this viewership. We want everybody over Ontario to be watching Lodge Poker, coming down to test their luck when they come down to Texas. Bring your passport.
All right, Canadian. All right, let me ask you something. Of those Canadians out there, so we see a big raise. I've got a trivia question after this hand. There's a raise from Kai.
So Jones not one for raising a lot pre-flop, but she's got big slicks suited. And Kai says, I came here from, Colleen Harker Heights. I came here to play, and I'm going to, step on the gas. I'm tired of folding, playing passively. I'm going to fast play my 10-8 off. And Jones just going to flat it. And we're going to get the money situated here, and then we're going to rip a flop. I would like to see Joan, fire in some more chips, but let's see what happens here. Kai's not electing to 3-bet with a 10-8 offsuit and then not c-bet when he misses. That's not happening, but it did.
6, and now an open-ended straight for Kai. He's going to make the bet and take it down. So here's the trivia question for the Canadians out there. Detroit, Michigan, as we know, way up north. What is the first foreign country if you go directly south from Detroit, Michigan? Mike, do you know the answer to that?
What'd you just say?
What is the first foreign country you come to if you drive directly south from Detroit, Michigan?
It's Canada. You're going to say Windsor?
It is Canada. Most people would say Mexico, but it is in fact
I'm not
Canada.
I'm not falling for that trick question.
Come on.
Come on. I'm a northerner. I'm a hockey guy. Some of my favorite Islanders are from Windsor. It's just right over the water there from Detroit. So you can't fool me. Sorry, I ruined the trivia for our friends watching at home. That was a snap call. Laser reads.
That's known in the business as a teaser.
Sorry.
And you just took the teaser and tore it up and
Can't
said,
fool me.
We don't want to have any fun in this game. I'll just tell you the answer right now. You were the guy who at a magician show said, the rabbit's behind his back. It's behind his back.
You asked me, though. You asked the question for the Canadians, and you said, Mike,
Yes.
what do you think? So when you asked me, I had to
know.
fire it out here.
I know. So we got a $20 bet.
So interesting, Kai no longer 3-betting with, king, queen suited, but he elects to 3-bet with the 10-8 off. Nobody has a 10 in their holdings here, but, the queen is still good. C-bets to 20. People behind, not much of anything to play with, and I imagine that bet is just going to take it down. Although, yep, there we go, full fold.
The money behind placard in front of Scotland is simply because he colored up a rack full of reds. He'll get some more chips to
George giving Ohio a shout out. Good on you, George. Ohio doesn't get much love. So Ohio might even be a foreign country, depending on who you ask. But
a little disappointed. Just learned on the way over here that the University of Texas versus Baylor basketball game that was scheduled tomorrow, a top 20 matchup, is canceled due to Baylor having some COVID situations. Yeah. I was looking forward to seeing that one. UT has got quite the team right now, beating Indiana, North Carolina, played good against Villanova.
That's just got to be expected. You never know if the game's going to tip off or they're going to be playing out there on the pitch until it happens. So just got to wait and see till these games actually kick off before you know what's going to transpire. But hopefully they get that game rescheduled.
Yeah. So we have I think that is a straddle for 10 from Joe. There's the raise from Cy. Cy comes in. He's been texting us all along. Finally gets into the game, makes it 40. Can't wait to get into the game, put some chips in play. And Kai will come along. Joan will fold, and Joe will fold as well. So now we'll go heads up. Cy versus Kai. Cy Kai.
Yeah, I know that says Corey there, but that is actually Cy. That is Cy in seat 2.
There's the bet. 65, seeing if he can take this down. He is winning right now with his top pair against Kai's pocket eights.
I think he got min-clicked raised there to 135, so interesting bet there.
And
Cy not going anywhere with top pair. I imagine Cy is going to check this. Oh, hello.
9 trips for Cy, not Corey. Cy got about 2,100 behind, and he'll let Kai bet again. Looks like a buck and a squirt, 125. And Cy thinking about it. This game is, we schedule on Saturday nights, but we have 1-3 action that plays very high in this room each and every day. 1-2. Typically, and we'll let this hand play out, and Cy is going to sit down and win a pot and pick up right where he left off last week. But, as I was saying, here in the lodge, 1-2, if you equate our 1-2 game into any poker room in Las Vegas, it plays more like a 2-5 game, really. And then if you take our 1-3 game, it plays more like a 5-10 game, certainly a 2-5 game. So we play, although our stakes are lower, they play rather high. This game is a 5-5 uncapped. So usually we primarily have 1-2 games and 1-3 games. Hold them. Then we'll throw in an Omaha, PLO and Big O. We'll play anything you want to play as long as there's other players that want to play it.
Interesting hand here on that last one there. I think Kai really lost the minimum there with his tricky betting there. And I know Cy and Kai don't have a lot of experience together. That's the 2 and 4 seed. So Cy played that hand a little bit slower than he might usually, just trying to feel out his opponents as we move forward here. But a little bit of a tricky line there that C4 was taking with those pocket 8s there. But he probably lost the minimum, so good on him. But Cy, as you said, picking up right where he left off with his pedal on the metal. And he sits down with a nice little hand here, ace-8 suited. So let's see what happens here, also with another suited ace in Scotland's position.
Jack King for 2 spades. Anthony with the spade draw and the top pair. Kind of flopped the world there. 89% to win is Anthony in seat 5.
Great flop there for seat 5, in position on the button. Fires out a nice little round circular black chip, 100 American, getting raised by Scotland with just a 4 here. So interesting. We know Anthony's not going anywhere.
Scotland mixing it up the last hour or so. And Anthony's going to make the call. In position. Heads up against Scotland.
So let's see what Scotland likes to do here.
Oh my goodness.
After you check raise the flop and that king comes, Scotland's been known, if you're telling a story with a check raise on the flop, you definitely like that king on the turn. But Scotland usually recognizes some spots when he's up against it, and he's smart enough to slow down. And he takes his foot off the gas here and slows down with the check.
Check, check. And there's the spade on the river. So he goes from trips to a flush, and life is good for Anthony.
So a sneaky check back there on the turn, and it's going to pay off.
And there's the
So he just got snapped
bad
off.
news.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's calling with an ace 4, so a pair of 4s. Interesting. Scotland's going to think about that one.
No, Scotland was making a move there. And I suspected that he didn't think he was good there, but he took his best shot. And Anthony playing a little bit slow there, almost has the stone cold nuts. I know there could be one higher flush out there, but also the board was paired. But I would not have mind a raise there in Anthony's spot there in position the way that hand played out. But playing it a little bit safe, definitely not folding for that sizing on the river, and nor should he with such a strong hand. But scoops in a nice one. Scotland getting a little frisky. Doesn't work out there, but that's okay. We'd like to see players mix it up, go for it, take their shot when they think their opponents are weak. But in that case, Anthony had the goods.
Scotland will raise it, will call, and coach will come along and make the bet, make the raise to 120. So he's going to put a black chip on top of 4 red chips and say, let's play some poker. Quick call from Kai, and it'll go Kai and coach to the flop. Ace 9 versus Jack 10 suited. Queen deuce 6, 2 hearts. Neither player hits a pair. And coach will continue the story with ace 9. And Kai will fold, and coach will take it down.
Not much anything for Kai to continue with. Coach's aggression pays off. Pretty standard.
Looks like we're going to have another bomb pot. So this is a PLO bomb pot. Each player will put $15 out in front of them. Every player will get dealt 4 cards. And we'll go straight to the flop and play a PLO bomb pot. So in PLO, it's the best hand using 2 and only 2. Must use 2. Can't use 1. Must use 2 in your hand, with 3 others on the board to make your best hand. Here comes the flop. Flop is 10, 6, 9. 2 diamonds. And tonight we've had a little trouble with the reader on these 4 card, trying to get all the players' cards read. And there's a bet by Kai. I've got Kai and Sai at the table now. Kai with pocket kings, and it's got a king club draw.
Yeah, we wanted to test out these bombers for more action purposes, but we anticipated that these readers would be a little bit difficult to all pick up. We really need each player to follow instructions on how to properly read each card for these readers, but we'll see how this goes moving forward. We might give him another chance in the future. We might elect just to do hold'em bomb pots. We'll kind of see what happens as we go on.
Deuce of hearts on the turn. Looks like we're just seeing 3 of the 5 players, so we'll just play this one in our heads here. Let's see who bets. There's Joe will make the bet. 250 from Joe on the button. Over to Scotland now. Scotland with an open-ended straight draw and diamond draw. Straight flush diamond draw. So he's got some interesting combinations to work with, and he'll call the 250. Over to Sai, not Corey. Sai, he's going to put his money in. So this pot is starting to get juicy.
Yeah, this is approaching one of our larger hands of the night for sure. That's what usually definitely happens in these bombers.
Kai will throw his kings out.
Especially when you had Omaha in the mix. The money goes in. The players believe in their holdings, and there's always a lot of possibilities.
8 of diamonds here makes a straight flush. There's a 4. Scotland with Squadouche.
Yeah, misses everything there. So much possibilities on the turn. Looks like it just goes check all the way home. Let's see. We see 2 paint cards there. We always knew what Scotland was holding, and that can't not be good.
No, that's not going to be good.
Jacks. And what is Cy holding there? 4-5 Jack.
He had a straight draw too. So I think Jacks are going to win this pot. Joe is going to win this pot with pocket Jacks.
Pretty rare that will hold up in a
Joan just said that.
nine-handed way.
Joan just said, "You're lucky, Joe," and he said, "Yes. I've never seen that before. Jacks winning pocket Jacks winning a."
But Joe
PLO
will take
hand.
it. Joe will definitely take it. I wish Cy would pull his pants up a little bit. I mean, there's people watching at home. My goodness. But here we go. We see our chip count. Scotland the big winner tonight. Anthony also been playing pretty well, up to 4K. So people come to play here tonight.
Go to the next hand. Just past 10:10 in the evening. We've got less than an hour left on our stream tonight. We appreciate everybody watching. Want to thank the lodge ownership, too, for making this all happen. They really invested in the Poker Night at the Lodge show and have put together a great team, including Dave Claproth. And I'd like to think they got some good commentators, too. Mike the Skull Reisman, Rick Epstein. We've had Joe Piccirillo. Corey Siegel's been in the box. We've had a lot of great commentary, and it's been fun, and we're building something.
We got some fireworks here with Scotland picking up the Cowboys and Coach 3-betting him in position. So we got blind on blind action here, and now it's back on Scotland with a decision to make here.
He may put it all in here.
I don't think so.
He's just going to call. No, he raises it up.
Raise it up.
450 maybe? 475.
And the snap call here by Coach. So now this pot is juicy. Scotland has Coach covered. Out of position here. Does not want to see an ace on this flop. Safe board here. Coach has been playing pretty passive, so if Scotland elects to trap here and induce a jam by Coach, I don't know if it's going to happen. Coach might elect to see a free card. I like a really small bet on this flop. And he comes with a small bet.
250, 275.
I like it. I like the sizing. Puts Coach in a really tough spot. But what is Coach beating? Even if, Scotland is doing this with a hand like Ace-King, Coach is in bad shape. Coach is losing to any pair. So really, Coach has 2 options to jam, which would be snapped off, or to fold. And I definitely like the latter. And he sends his card into the muck. So a nice hand there by Scotland. Scoops up a pot, 1.3. And we're going to see another one here shortly. So again, thanks for joining us. Poker Night at the Lodge, live stream edition. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get in on the mix yourself, shoot me an email on the bottom. skullmikepoker@gmail.com. Canadians welcome. People from California welcome. Anywhere around Texas welcome. Get at me and come join us here in Round Rock, Texas.
Over to Kai. We'll call the 5. Anthony will fold. Joan looks down at 5-3 offsuit and says, I'm going to play in late position. Scotland comes along. Check. Over to the big blind. Tony will check it. Another $5 call. Looks like 6 players. King 10-5, 2 diamonds. Joseph has a diamond draw. 70%. Joe, I mean. king on the turn. $50 bet by Joan with 2 pair, kings and 5s. Let's see what kind of respect Joan's going to get. She gets all sorts of respect, and she's going to take down that small pot and give Frank a tip. There's the aggression frequency. We'll go on to the next hand. Frank puts them in the air. Looks like we've got a straddle from Kazim worth $10.
Somehow George is only +2 on this red and black challenge that's been going on forever. Maybe you guys should double down and raise the stakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Come on, boys. I know, George, you haven't had much gamble in you lately. Phil always has gamble in him, so let's raise the stakes a little bit on this red and black challenge.
Cy makes it 40. Kazim with the call. Coach will come along, and Tony will come along. We'll go 4 ways to the flop. $160 in the skillet. And here's the flop, Jack 4-6. And not much for anything.
No,
9. There's Coach now with a top with a 9.
Pair. He's got 9s and 6s. So now Coach really has his board smashed. In position.
Makes it 75. Quick call from Tony.
Tony with the open ender elects to see another card here. Would not have mind a raise there from Tony. Well, you know what happens when you miss. Really just got to shut down here. That 2 is going to connect with nobody.
Deuce of hearts. Coach is going to win this
Tony's
hand.
going to check. I really want to see Coach fire something out. He's been checking down a lot of his hands. 150. 2 options here for Tony, fold or raise. Raise doesn't really make much sense. The story that you've been telling, you just got to send these cards into the muck, and Coach is going to take down a little small pot. So a nice one there for Coach. Went into some tough spots over the past couple of weeks.
All right, let me ask you, on a hand like that, where Coach made the bet on the end with two pair, the play of Tony coming back over the top in that situation, one of the most powerful plays in poker.
Very suspicious, in my opinion, the way the hand played out. And if I have 2 pair in my holding with the stack size that Coach has, I am not going anywhere. I'm calling it off. And seat 1, Tony, is losing $900 more than he needed to lose there in that situation. So if I'm going to make a move on that hand and really try and get aggressive with my open ender, I would be raising the turn to give myself a little bit more backup in case I miss on the river, and then I can fire and my line seems a little bit more credible. So that's my kind of thought process there. You can't just check, call, and then just blast off river when the 2 of hearts makes it. Like, what does the 2 of heart do?
Right.
Not really a great card for a bluff, especially when you've been playing the hand passively. It makes 0 sense, and you're getting snapped off then losing more money.
But if you feel that your opponent who's been betting isn't very strong,
you can really put him in a tough spot.
But he's still making the call.
But the way Coach has been playing all night, you know, you really got to take that into consideration. You really got to, these players have been playing together now for a number of hours. And you're starting to pick up reads on each other and learning, you know, each player's tendencies. So you got to give Coach credit for a hand there, and that's not the greatest spot for a bluff. I'm all for bluffs and going for pots when you deem your opponent weak, but still there needs to be a right situation for that as well.
And Tony just spilled his latte all over the lodge floor, and he's asking for a cleanup on aisle 9. Tony, clean up.
This might be his last day on the stream if that continues to happen.
Oh my goodness! And he's feeling bad. He sees it going all over the place, running all over his shoe.
Thank God it wasn't on the felt, though. We might have had to pause the stream there for cleanup.
Well, especially this table, because we got sensors under the felt. Yeah. We could have had a short circuit. And there's it looks like a misdeal Franklin's first mistake of the night in the box. We'll bring the cards in. We're going to have a straddle by Anthony. And, yeah, you see that spill right behind Tony's chair there. And he's going to try to go and clean that up. It happens.
Let's see here as I bounce in around the chat. I'm also trying to have some more viewers pop in.
Joan will fold. Joe will look down to see if he wants to call the $10 straddle. Here comes a raise from Scotland. Makes it 35. Coach will say, I'll play. Tony's away getting paper towels to clean up his spill. And Cy will come along, as does Kazim. And Anthony. So we got 5 waves to the flop. Frank will give us 10-4 deuce rainbow. Scotland will make it 35, it looks like. 60 bet, I'm sorry. 60 is the bet. Quick call from Anthony. Anthony with a pair of 10s. Turn is the 3 of clubs. Check, check. And there's another deuce. So
just jack high here for Scotland. Not much of anything here. Anthony with top pair. 10s and 2s with the 6. Fires out a little bit of value here. Scotland really can't do nothing with his jack high and lays it down. Sends it into the muck. Leo got game in the chat. My old college roommate. Shout out to you, Lenny boy. It's been a long time. Thanks for joining us, hopping into the chat. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're here every Saturday night, mixing it up, playing some poker. I know your poker game's a little rusty. You got to get back out there and mix it up. Come on down to Austin, Texas. I will get you in this game.
Was Leo Got Game a member of AE Pi like you were?
Yes, he was.
AE Pi. Did they have Sammy down at where you went?
They did not.
That's
so
unfortunate.
AE Pi was just like that. Lenny boy, though, a nice little basketball player in his own right. He's one of the taller members of the tribe. So
here comes a raise from Tony.
His poker table is the basketball court. Tony firing out a bet of 20.
There's a raise.
So thank goodness for Cy joining the table.
Cy.
Oh, but we see Coach waking up with kings in the 9 seat. So maybe a little payback for last week, because we saw Cy have the kings and Coach have the queens, but maybe the tables have turned. We're not quite sure what Cy is holding here.
He's not going to play it slow.
He's not going to play it slow, and both these players have history, as we mentioned like last week. Cy taking a look at Coach's stack, trying to size him up. He's got about 900 or so behind, maybe a little less.
305 is the bet. Quick call from Cy. We'll go heads up.
In position here. Pot already has over $600 in it. Don't mind these graphics here. This is a 3-bet pot.
Ace 7
Heads up between Coach, the 9 seat, and the 2 seat.
Ace 7-3 rainbow.
And just like we said, the old Kennedy brothers attracting the bullets here. So the absolute worst card that Coach wanted to see. And now what do? When your opponent bets 315, basically you're half your stack. You're out of position here. You can't just flat this 315. That's not an option. You need to go all in or you need to fold. And he elects to go all in, and he is not snapped off by his opponent. So a little sigh of relief if you're in Coach's seat. Maybe my kings are good. And I know Cy likes to fire out some of these bets, these types of feeler bets, really putting his opponent to the test. And seeing where he's at.
Just like that scene in Rounders when Mike McDermott says, I have a couple things I can do here. Do I fold and think he has me beat, or put him to the test by putting it all in? And Cy obviously doesn't have an ace. He's going to fold.
And he lays it down. He's getting such a great price to suck on out there, but says, you know, maybe I'll lose, you know, $300 as opposed to losing, you know, $750. So
And Coach breathes a sigh of relief.
I guess Cy might have had a hand like queens or jacks there, or 10, something along those lines. If he had an ace, he's definitely calling that off, even if it was a weak ace.
Oh, yeah.
Getting that price. So no ace in Cy's hand. I'm sorry for the readers being a little off there, but a little payback for Coach in the 9 seed after getting stacked off last week by Cy. So I'm sure that feels good if you're living and breathing there in the 9 seed.
We're on to the next hand. As Kai is on the button, Kazim will make the call, as does Kai. Now to the blinds. Anthony will make the call, and Joan will come along. The straddle is Joe. Joe with his option. Joe will say, how much am I going to put on top of this?
He is juicing it up. Could easily see a flop multi-way with 3s and go set mining. But that's just not in Joe's nature. He says, I have a pair. This is my straddle. I am going to be the captain. I am the captain now.
110 is the bet now.
And now Coach opens the door for the players behind, making the price a little bit more easier to call with less premium hands. As we see, nobody has much of anything behind. Maybe Joan elects to come along, and yes, she does. Joan is one for action. Out of position against these 3 players. But let's see what happens here. Maybe a 3 or a 7. No, but the ace and the king, something that no player really wanted to see. Nobody has an ace or a king now. So let's see what happens. Joe representing that he has a strong hand, and I think this is going to take it down.
Buck and a squirt from Joe, 125. And, oh, Joan.
Joan, spicy here. Joan trying to really pray and hope for 10. Drawing to a gut shot for Broadway.
She checks dark.
Ooh, and the 3 comes. So Joe didn't even need it. Gets his set on the turn, and he's definitely not going to slow down now. Going to be sizing down. Good on Joe. Sizing down here, inducing a call there by Joan. But if a diamond or a 10 comes, Joe's going to be kicking himself. I would have liked to seen a larger size, maybe target an ace or a king that your opponent has, knowing that you don't have it in your hand. So he could have got caught there with such a small bet. But little does he know, Joan was not holding an ace or a king, only drawing to Broadway. And she elects to get away at just the perfect time.
So Joe.
We got Gange in the chat too. Shout out to Gange, another one of my roommates. And I am the captain now. You know it, sir. These guys are all in LA, quarantined on curfew. So what better way to pass the time than watch a little poker night at the lodge with Slick Rick and the Skull? Let's go.
Man, all your fraternity brothers and roommates
coming in. They're coming in from far and wide to tune in, do a little poker here.
They met a young New Yorker who came to school in the Southwest. Didn't you go to Arizona? The Wildcats?
That's right. They just got rocked in a football game by Arizona State, so let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
We're here for poker. Kai flopping a flush draw. Kazim with the overs. Joe, what he thinks is top pair, but he is mistaken. He'll find out the bad news shortly. Kai's going to represent a hand here. He's going to flat call. There we go. So we have a pot building here. Jack of hearts on the turn. Air for everybody. A card that Kazim did not want to see. Kai still drawing for the flush. Goes check, check. Everybody whiffs. The 10s are good. Let's see if Kai gets creative, missing that flush draw, and he does, putting his opponents to the test. A little feeler bet of 100.
He's made some good bets tonight. I've been pretty impressed with Kai, winning with nothing.
And Kazim,
a busted flush draw.
Kazim folds his 10s, which was the best hand there. Kazim and Kai don't really have much experience playing. And so Kai gets a little respect there, making the correct play, missing everything but still winning the pot. So that's poker at its best. scooping pots with the worst of it. And we're going to see a bomb pot here. Everyone's going to ante $15. We're going to have a little PLO bomb pot. So let's get that going here in the mix. For those watching for the first time, bomb pot, everybody antes $15. There's no betting pre-flop. And we're doing PLO bomb pot, so everybody gets dealt 4 cards. We might have a missed deal here. I think Frank only, oh, he saves it. What a save by Frank. A kick save and a beauty. Started dealing 2 cards, but we're doing PLO bomb pots. Everybody gets 4 cards, no betting pre. We rip the 3 cards, and then the betting ensues.
King 8-3, 2 spades. Must play 2, 2 and only 2 in Omaha. Six of spades, so chances of a flush are pretty darn good right now. Somebody has 2 spades.
Trying to get some of these readers up here. Again, it's been tough all night with the 4 cards on these PLO bombers. That was anticipated, but we wanted to press our luck and see what we can do. Scotland here, as we can see, has the set of kings trying to fade spades, though. Pretty likely that somebody might have spades here. As we can see, this pot is ballooning.
3 players now.
$1.20, 3-way, after everybody antes 15. So this pot is growing to about $500. Let's see what the river brings. If the board pairs, we know. Did the kings get away there? I think the kings might have gone away, and the board does pair.
There's a boat. If the kings are still in it.
Well, I think, was Scotland the one with the kings? I know somebody had some kings here, and so the kings would be the stone cold, basically nutter butters, unless we're going against quads, which is
I think Scotland has some.
He's still in here. So Scotland has king here, and he fires out the bet here. Going to put his opponent, so the readers are off here. Scotland, I believe, has king, so king's full of 8s. The action is on seat 4, and the decision is not an easy one.
Kai is thinking about it.
It's tough, too, when you have an opponent behind you here. So if you kind of flat this, so it looks like Kai folds and then it gets snapped off there by Anthony. And Scotland shows kings full, and Anthony flips over the flush, it looks like. So flush is no good. Kings full is good.
Yeah.
Ship the money over to seat 8. And that, folks, if that is your first bomber, that's how bomb pots work. Action happens. Everybody is dealt cards, in this case 4 cards pre-flop, and then the betting goes blast off.
What do you think about that bet from Scotland? Thought it was a little light, wouldn't you?
Little low, but it was a very scary board. Pretty scary board. You definitely want to get somebody.
Not for him.
No, but for your opponent's calling ranges, you know, you don't want to fire out a bet there and not get called by anybody. So at least he got a little value there as opposed to nothing. Probably going to size up a little higher. Could have gone a little higher, but we'll take it. If we're in Scotland's shoes, you know, we'll take it. So we're on to the next, back to standard no limit hold'em. 10:30 Central Standard Time here in Round Rock, Texas. We're going to be going another 20-25 minutes or so. We stream every Saturday night, 8 to 11 Central Time, so thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe to the channel. Pick a favorite here. I know Jones got a lot of favorites here in our chat. And you'll see these players again here as we stream each and every Saturday. We're going to try and mix in some new players. Email me at the bottom of the screen if you want to play.
Here comes the flop from Frank. 4-ace-10, rainbow. Coach checks over to Tony. Tony will check. Kai will make the bet. Looks like we've got Kai and Scotland. 7 of diamonds on the turn. Scotland first act will make the check. Check, check. 5 of spades on the river.
So graphics are still a little off on this hand, but we have a large size bet there by Kai, $400 on the river.
A raise because Scotland made the bet of 80. Raise to 400 from Kai.
Yeah, interesting raise here. Pretty strange board.
And that would be 6-8, right? 6-8.
But
So,
yeah, 6-8 would be a pretty strange hand to be having here, the way the betting took place. I reached into my backpack to grab for my charger here in the beginning of this action. It gets called, and it's king high. So king high, no good. Looked like to be a little bluff, and Scotland calls off with a weak ace, it looked like. It was ace,
yeah, ace
what?
deuce, ace deuce.
Well, ace deuce, was ace deuce two pair? Might have been
No,
two pair.
it was not.
So a weak ace. So good on Scotland for sniffing out the bluff there. And as I suspected, it was just kind of a strange time there for a $400 bet. Not many draws there. So Kai just doing one for the home team, doing one for the fans up in Harker Heights there, trying to flex a little bit, but gets sniffed down in the correct play there by Scotland, and he gets $400 more than he probably should have had there. So good on him.
Frank will deal out another one. Looks like we've got a straddle from Tony of 10. Here comes the raise from Kai. He's been very active tonight.
He's looking to try to recoup some of those losses that he just had from the previous hand. He's going to juice it up.
Makes it 40.
Joe's coming along in position on the button. It's going to be moving around the coach. $40 to play.
Flop comes king 5 deuce, 2 diamonds. And the coach first to act. Checks and over to Joe. Makes the bet at 85, and coach will quickly fold. And Kai will come along. Queen of clubs on the turn.
Apologize about the little card readers right now. I know they're not picking up. We'll try and get those going here moving forward on the next hand.
Joe, 100. Kai will make the call. 4 of hearts on the river.
Another big bet here from Kai on the river. Ups it $100 to a total of $500. Basically a pot-sized bet, and that's going to be good enough to take it down. So Joe's not going to call that one off there, and you got to think that Kai wouldn't be bluffing again. As you see there, he has the wheel there on the river, and a good fold there by Joe, which is pocket sevens. So Kai gets there on the river. Would have been interesting to see what he would have fired out there on the river if he did not connect with it, but he had the goods there. Unfortunate for him that he did not get called off to try and recoup those losses from the last hand, but he'll take it. Any money is good money. And we're going to go on to the next hand. Looks like we got a $10 straddle on this hand by the 2 seat. 5-5-10. Kazim is no longer at the table, so his cards will be sent to the muck. Action on the 5 seat. Disgusted fold there. God knows what he had. Joe's going to see it for 10.
Over to Joe.
Would have liked to see
The
Joe.
ladies.
And everybody is trapping here again. It's unreal.
Here comes the raise from Scotland.
Joe, as we know, doesn't really like to be raising pre-flop, but she's got big slick. And then Joe just trapping behind with queens. And it goes to coach. Well, what is Scotland? We don't know what Scotland has. Scotland opened up the betting on the button with the 55, flatted by coach. The original person who opens up the straddle folds.
Just a
And everyone is still trapping. So there is not even a raise behind from Joan or Joe, which is pretty amazing.
Ace 6-4 and Joan
Pretty amazing.
with the ace on the turn on the flop there. Makes the bet of 50. Quick fold. Maybe Joe knew that the ace was coming.
I like mixing in a little bit of that here and there, but somehow it's pretty shocking that this pot is not larger than it is right now.
Quick call from Scotland, and now we'll go heads up.
Scotland just has king high, as we see his cards are now in the reader. So Sky looking to make some plays on later streets, just kind of floating Joan in position. A 75 type of bet, still kind of low for such a hand as strong as ace-king here. Scotland probably thinking the same thing here. And does he want to make a play?
He does. He calls.
He knows his king high is no good. I'm pretty surprised he didn't like to fire in a raise there. Either you start raising or you fold. So now a value bet of $100, like now you snap fold, or you're just trying to hope for a king or a queen. So I don't really love that line there by Scotland. I don't really love that line there from a lot of people, the way that hand played out from the beginning. But ace-king, the best hand after the flop there, takes it down. And good on Joan for raking in a nice little $500 pot. Could have been larger. Probably could have been heads up between the ace-king and the queens. But that's neither here nor there. And Joan takes it. So about 10:40. We got about another 10-15 minutes or so here on the stream. G. Jones in the chat. Thank you for joining us. That hoodie's fire. Probably talking about our boy Anthony in the middle. Or maybe Joan. I don't know. There's a lot of nice little hoodies here
Coach
at the table.
and Tony's wearing a hoodie.
No, it's probably talking about the Jordan one, if I would guess.
Frank gives a flop. 6, 4, 8, all hearts. Neither player with a heart. Another 6. And Scotland doesn't realize how far ahead he is right now. Makes a bet of 30. Quick fold by Tony. We'll go on to the next one. Lodge would love to have you come and give us a visit. Let us earn your business. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Located off exit 251 in Round Rock off I-35. There's a big Whataburger right next door. You can't miss the Whataburger sign. You can see it from about 3 miles away. Frank is the lucky guy. A player just came over to him and gave him more money. I guess he won a tournament, and Frank gave him so Frank's doing well tonight.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. These dealers deserve to be tipped. They're working hard, and their tips are their main source of income. So when you win a hand, definitely show them some love. And when you win a tournament, even more so.
40 is the bet. 10, 6, 4, 2 hearts. And
big old whiff.
Cy with the open-ended straight. And I believe he just hit it, the Nutty Buddy, or close to it. I guess 7-9 would be the nuts, but he's got 5-7, just as good, I think.
Not much of anything behind. Kai's going to float it to try and get there on the river, but it's pretty thin.
He's drawing just a chop. He doesn't know that right now.
Scotland coming along too with his 8. King helps nobody. Straight's still good. 225.
Fold by Kai in Scotland with just an 8 with an ace.
Trying to think what could Cy really have, and he's going to pay him off. So Cy's going to get paid there. Probably thinks that bet on the river is a little suspicious once the king comes out. Maybe putting his opponent on hearts. Not giving him credit for 10. I know that 7-5 is pretty disguised. So good sizing there by Cy. Gets paid off rather quickly. And Cy trying to build up some momentum here late in the stream. He got that seat late after the blood splatter has been cleaned up from C2 from Mamba. Cy comes in, starts scooping in some chips, so good on him. Again, 10:45. We got about 10 more minutes or so on the stream, so get your final chats in. George and Phil, if you're still counting your red and blacks here on the flop, you're going to have to settle up here shortly. But if you're watching, again, tune on in next Saturday. We're not quite sure what we're going to be doing yet. We might do another 5-5 game, or we might live stream the Art of Poker Final Table Tournament. That is TBD. So check out the Lodge Poker Club Facebook page. Shoot me an email, call the club. Either or, we're going to be doing something going on on a regular basis here on Saturday evenings. Hopefully some larger cash games, as we love to see large denominations exchange seats.
Ace, king, 4, 2 spades on the flops. Check, check all around. And we'll go to the turn, which is a 10 of clubs. So Kazim with the ace way out in front.
Tony drawing to Broadway, likes to get out of there. Jones still in there with the 10, hoping for a jack, does not come.
Spade, 3 of spades on the river. And
Kazim fires out, goes for a little value, gets paid off by Jones, so the ace is good. So a nice little small one there for Kazim. He's been rather quiet lately after getting off to a hot start.
And we're off to the next one. February 25th, it all starts. 3-day ones, February 25th, 6th, and 7th. $500 buy-in, $75 club access fee gets you in to a poker tournament that have a $200,000 guarantee, all right here at the Lodge. Day 2 will be Sunday, February 28th. So plan on it. Start saving now. Maybe enter a satellite, which happens each and every. Hey, there's Monty saying hello. But plan on that. That's in February. $200,000 guarantee, and we typically will go over that guarantee. So it's going to draw a lot of people from all over the country, as it's a very big tournament. Here's the flop. Flop comes Jack 9, Ace, 2 diamonds.
2 pair there for Kazim. Nobody holding an ace. A couple straight draw possibilities.
Only one player with a diamond, and that is Tony. And he's just got the 5 of diamonds, so.
Checks around the Kazim, using his position, but he's got the best of it here. Kai's going to come along with his jack. Be really, really bad news if a 7 peels here. So if you're rooting for some action, the 7 is the card that you want to see on the turn. Let's see what happens.
6, very close. 6 of hearts.
6 of hearts. Does not give anybody a heart draw. Kazim firing out again. Still has the best of it. Ups the ante. Kai still not buying what Kazim is selling. Looks like he's going to peel to try and see another one. Makes the call. So we got a pot growing here. Let's see what the river brings. A 7 maybe? Does not.
There's a king.
But let's see here.
Check, check, and Kai will see the bad news as Kazim with the winner, and he'll get chipped to add to his pyramid of chips.
Pretty nice pyramid there. I like the formation. I like the visual. So shout out to Kazim there in C3, winning the creative award of the evening. The chip porn award of the evening. C3. But it's been pretty tight here. You know, not a crazy, a lot more action probably last week on the stream. C3 got off to a hot start. Sai's been doing a little bit good. Anthony's been doing okay. Scotland's been mixing it up. Joe and Coach have been going back and forth. So a pretty even disbursement around of the chip totals here as we continue on here on the stream tonight.
Scotland calls with the ace-queen. Kai wakes up with the Gretzky's 99. Black 9s.
Joan with big slick again, and she's not going to be firing a 3-bet.
Big slick suited for Joan. Looking all sparkly with her outfit tonight. Joe will come along, make the call over to Scotland now with ace-queen. He's had that hand a couple times tonight.
And he's fired in a large raise usually when he has those holdings.
He looks like he's going to raise.
Rightfully so. Trying to thin the field. You don't want to take ace-queen, multi-way, 5-way out of position.
Kazim's not going anywhere. I mean, Kai's not going anywhere.
I don't think Kai's going anywhere on the button. He's going to elect to set mine, and he's not one afraid to mix it up. Let's see what Joan does. Joan's not one to... She's not a huge fan of ace-king, but she's got to at least see a flop here. I don't want to see her fold. She's not raising, 100% not raising. She might, I don't mind a raise, honestly, but can't fold. So she was deciding between a call and a fold.
She's going to make the call.
And now that makes it pretty interesting if you're in Joe's spot. You know, this is a pretty juicy pot. Joe's one for action. Maybe hoping that his queen or nine might be live. In this case, he's crushed, only really drawing to the nine or hearts. And then one of his opponents has pocket nine, so he's really crushed in every area, and he makes the fold. So good fold there by Joe, drawing the hearts and hearts only. And now we got some premium hands going up against it, where we got a three-way pot, 1.2 in the middle. And Joan binks the king again. So we've seen Joan have ace-king multiple times tonight on the stream, not electing to play it fast pre, just letting her opponents be the aggressors and her just kind of coming along for the ride. But she hits it.
Scotland now with backdoor clubs.
And Scotland was the aggressor pre, so if you're the aggressor pre here and it comes back around to you, firing out a bet makes sense. And you have the ace of clubs, as you mentioned, Rick. That's an important card. Important card to have. An ambitious call there by Kai. Doesn't take much time to call.
Kai loves putting chips in the pot, that's for sure.
Kai doesn't have that much more behind, too, so pretty interesting. So nobody folded there on the flop, and we're going to go three-way to a turn, and the club gets there. So a little bit more equity for Scotland. A very important card there for Scotland. And also, Kai now has an open. Kai does not have the open-ended, but he has a nine for the for a flush as well. So, and he's open-ended for the straight.
He's got an open-ended.
Yeah. Thought he had an open-ended straight flush draw. I had to double-check that board. So a pretty juicy turn card there. One that will probably scare Joan a little bit, even though she has the best hand here.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. Joan checks it over to Scotland. A very good card there for Scotland, but if he checks this, he's probably worried about a jam behind from Kai.
Yeah, I think Kai's going to put some chips in this pot.
Kai probably just rips it all in if it gets checked to him, but
he's going to go all in as Scotland.
Scotland's gonna push it, and he gets snapped off real quick there by Kai.
And Joan, the leader,
folds
goes out.
All that action folds. So Joan folds the best hand after everybody goes bonkers on this turn, and the nines are still good here. He's got to fade a club, ace, or a queen, and he does.
Makes the straight.
So
no, he two pair.
Nines and sixes. So Kai wins the biggest hand of the night there. Very, very juicy, very spicy. And Joan, you see, is kicking herself by not staying in there with the ace-king. See, I had you both. I had you both the whole way. But when you go, that was for her whole stack there. So once Scotland puts the max pressure on Joan, and opponent, before even Joan snaps it off without even thinking, it makes it really tough when you're holding ace-king there. So I can't fault Joan for folding there, but she could have played the hand maybe a little bit differently pre-flop or on the flop to avoid all this action on the turn. So she kind of let one get away there, but that's definitely the America's Card Room hand of the night as we come to the end of the stream here shortly. Close to 5K pot there. Makes the trip all worth it. From Kai driving down from Harker Heights and Killeen, you know he'll be back to here at Poker Night at the Lodge live stream after winning a juicy pot like that. But the nines hold up there. Woo! Very, very interesting. So if you're still in the chat, if you're still watching at home, you've been rewarded for sticking around. We appreciate that. Like and subscribe to the channel. Big hand right there. It looks like we got the straddle going on here, 5-5-10. Nobody seems to be folding. This could be a family pot. So this is not a bomb pot. This is just a family pot. Nobody wants to fold their holdings. Everybody wants to play some poker. As you can see, everybody's holdings on the left. So I don't know who said earlier on in the stream that this game was tight.
Queen 10 deuce.
As you can see, everybody wants to play. Nobody wants to fold.
Tony flops a queen. Queen 10 deuce rainbow. Everybody's in this hand, and there's a bet for 60 from Joan.
Scotland drawing to Broadway. Tony with top pair.
I take that back. That bet was by Tony. So we'll go to the next hand. Kai definitely has been the player that has been willing to risk the most and put the most chips in the pot with several of his hands, and he gets paid off.
Yeah, miracle turn there for him as well. After the aggression that was seen on the flop, I would have gotten rid of those 9s after the bet. Honestly, I would probably not have seen a turn there. So he gets rewarded for staying in there. He gets a very fortunate turn card that gives him more equity. And once Scotland puts in all those chips on the turn, Kai says, let's go. And that scares Joan out of the pot with the best of it all. So again, that was definitely the hand of the night. Very entertaining and exciting hand.
Kai's going to raise it up to 35 now. Over to Joe. Joe in a Chicago Bulls hat will fold. Over to Scotland will fold. Coach will make the call. And back over to Kazim. Kazim will make the call. So we'll go three-handed to the flop. Frank gives us 10-9-7, 2 hearts. And
nut flush draw for Coach, top pair there for Kazim, and the open-ender for Kai. So another juicy flop.
Yeah.
And we're going to see three-way action here. No one will be folding. Maybe there will be some raising, and there are going to be definitely more chips in the middle of this pot. So
Kazim leads out. Everybody makes the call. So we'll go 3 hands to the turn.
very, very juicy one here.
King of diamonds.
So the straight gets there. Now Kai has the straight. Coach still drawing to the nuts. And now Kazim, a little worried, slows down, rightfully so. There will be no slowing down from the 4 seat as you have the nuts at the moment. Makes it expensive for Coach to come along, and Coach is not going nowhere. Makes the call. Looks like he has money behind too, or that might be from Scotland.
Yeah, that's Scotland.
So action back on Kazim, putting him in a tough spot. Still a pretty decent hand with the 10-8. He is also open-ended with a pair. Has a heart blocker. And he makes the call for 165.
Wow, 3 players to the river.
Just as we suspected, nobody's going nowhere when this flop comes. And let's see what the river brings. This could be a very interesting card depending on what falls. Let's see a heart 1 time rooting for Coach in the 9 seat.
No.
Does not come. But an interesting card there. It makes the straight there for Kazim.
Yeah.
So will Kazim be able to get away? I suspect Coach will be going away because I don't envision both players checking. Kazim leads out with his straight.
Uh-oh. This is
Kai with the nuts needs to fire in a raise. Wastes no time, fires in a raise. That will do it for Coach. Bye-bye. Can't. Oh, he exposes the ace of hearts there. Unfortunate that, you know, little loose fold there by Coach. Probably showing a little frustration the way that the hand is gone. But let's see what happens here. So that might be a little bit of an action. Yeah.
Kai's put this in before and not had it, with no players seen it though.
Right.
But he's.
And I don't see.
How is Kazim going to get away from this?
I don't see Kazim folding. It's a really tough fold.
At worst, he's thinking maybe I'm chopping here.
He's not raising. I don't think he's folding. I think he's just going to have to pay this one off. Good sizing there by Kai. So Kai really picking up some fortunate spots here as we come to the end of the stream here. Just finding his way to the best of it, or scaring away people who have the best of it and winning some big pots here. He's going to get paid off. Nuts, chip the chips to seat 4. Well played there by Kai. And Kazim's going to have to send some chips over there. That's okay. It's not a long-distance phone call. It's not a long-distance flight. It's just moving over 1 seat. Pretty easy transfer.
And Kai, all of a sudden, is making it happen, Captain.
Yeah.
Late in the night.
Yeah.
He's going to go home, and he may stop on the way and get a Whataburger with cheese. He's winning so much money.
Some fortunate runouts. But he's been patient, and he's been not afraid to stick the chips in when he doesn't get there. So playing some good poker helps to run good as well. And just a really tough spot there for Kazim.
Look at the chip count.
So that might be the last hand of the night. We're going to kind of be tuning down.
Kai with 5,700, Anthony 4,300, Joseph 2,700. There's the VPIP and some of the stats here as we wrap it up with Mike Reisman and Rick Epstein, and we're going to see some of these stats. And we appreciate you joining us here on a Saturday night. There's the pre-flop raise stats. You see Scotland was pretty active tonight along with Kai, and they were pretty entertaining this evening. And there's the aggression frequency. Again, Scotland and Kai at the top of the list. That would make sense tonight. And went to showdown. Cy, who came in late 33% of the time, and Kai was active a lot, and there's your cumulative winnings. Big time for Kai, $2,700 to the winner. And down at the bottom, unfortunately, Scotland and Cy were throwing the party tonight, and that'll do it for Mike Reisman and Rick Epstein, and we hope you join us next time on Poker Night at the Lodge.